My dad's ridiculous handle is
I,
Navy
Hel-
Old
oh,
Salt Gamer. Oh, hello.
Hello. Let
Hello.
me the picture. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special stream today. Today, I'm actually going to be talking about the trip that I took to Cambodia uh, last month with my family. And today, we actually have some very, very special guests on this stream. I am joined by the one who always encourages and looks for my deaths in game and in streaming, my wonderful, very loving mother, Susan. Hi, Mom.
hello, hello. Can anybody? Hello.
Hello, Mom.
I
We can
don't
hear
think
you.
he dies on this, but I almost did.
And I am also joined by my wonderful sister-in-law, Ren.
Hello, everyone.
So let me say hi to everyone in chat who's here. We've got a lot of people here, which is awesome. I'm glad y'all are excited to see and hear about Cambodia. Cambodia is a great country, so I'm excited to share it all with you. So Howdy Whisper, Daddy K, Sarah, Matt, Jarl Axel, Captain Fossil, Adam, Kyle, Splash, Ren, Caliph, and Phil. How's everyone doing today? I hope y'all are doing well. So, we have a lot of pictures and videos and stories to get through, so without further delay, let's get into it. So just a little bit of backstory on why Cambodia. Um, so when I was finishing up my PhD in genetics, I was a little disillusioned with the whole idea of academic research, and I didn't want to spend my entire career sitting behind a desk, writing grants and writing papers while other people did the research. It seemed miserable and boring to me, so I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. But one thing I have wanted to do for a long, long time is serve in the Peace Corps. For those of you not in the U.S., the U.S. Peace Corps is a government funded, but not really government organization. Kind of, it's U.S. government, but we try to distance ourselves from the government. But it's a volunteer organization where we go to developing and low-income countries and assist with something. So it depends on where your country, what country you go to, depends on what you will do. So, like in Cambodia, we had community health education volunteers like myself, and we also had um, English teaching teachers, volunteers, basically people who would go train the English teachers and improve their English teaching skills. Other countries have agriculture and farming volunteers. Some others work with computer programming and computer development, all sorts of things, depending on what the country needs. So I did that. I went to Cambodia. I lived there for 2 years, a little over 2 years, with the Peace Corps. And while I was there, I lived with a host family, which really became very much my family, just as much as my U.S. family. Um, Great people, and I was, as I said, also a community health education volunteer. So I worked with a local health clinic, and I went out into the community and educated on basic health topics. So there was a lot of diabetes and cardiovascular disease in my community. So I really focused on nutrition, exercise, um, and things like that to try to help address those issues or prevent them from becoming issues in the younger generations. After I finished my Peace Corps service, I stayed in Cambodia working for an NGO helping kids in Southeast Asia get their type 1 diabetes medication and treatment. Um, I came back from Cambodia in 2018, the end of 2018, and I've always wanted to go back, but COVID and lack of money really limited a lot of that. So I think it was last year, I found out one of my friends from Peace Corps was going to be going back to Cambodia to do a Cambodian wedding. He married a Cambodian woman that he met during the Peace Corps, and they were going to go back and do their Cambodian ceremony. They had already done the U.S. ceremony, but they needed to do the Cambodian one. So I'm like, perfect. Let's go. I'll be there. Let's go back. And then my family was like, ooh, yeah, let's go too. So, you know, always excited to share the country with my family. So I was excited to have the opportunity to bring them back, and now I want to share Cambodia with the rest of you. Um, so yeah, that's why we went back. So as I said, the first reason why we went back was actually does Dad, or Mom, Ren, do you have anything to say at this point? And feel free to jump in at any point as well.
I think Ben may have joined.
Oh,
I think.
It's me.
ah, it is uh
Oh,
Ren's
hi, Cass.
sibling, Cass.
Yeah.
Howdy, Cass.
Hello.
Um,
I will. Hi, Cass.
Cass,
I will say that I'm thankful that there's another family that's willing to put up with Jeremy. There's more of him than needed to share.
yes, yes. So Cass, just so you know, we are live streaming on my YouTube. You're welcome to be here if you want. I just wanted to let you know.
I figured it sounded official.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll put the link. Oh, it's already in there. Never mind.
but yeah, so yeah, so let's talk about the wedding. So I have some pictures and some videos from the wedding ceremony. So a Cambodian wedding. Oh, hi Ben in the chat. That's my brother. Um, so a Cambodian wedding is a very extravagant, I think it's the best word, ordeal. So it's a 3-day ceremony, and the bride and groom wear 11 different outfits throughout those 3 days. And you'll see a couple of those in some of these pictures. But here's one of the ceremonies. Honestly, I don't know what all is going on in this. Obviously, it's all in Khmer, and I speak a little bit of Khmer. And I actually was going to introduce the stream in Khmer, but I forgot to do that. So Khmer is the Cambodian language. What I was going to say is, Chomarepsu Tengaknia Saksabate, Kinyam Chamoy Kongveal, Nung Tanani, Kinyam Nitye Ompi, Bel Kurosakinyom, Nung Kinyam Tau Kampuchea, which means, hello everyone, my name is how are you? My name is Kongveal, and today I'm going to talk about when my family and I went to Cambodia. Streamer brain hit early. But yeah, so all this was in Khmer, so I don't really understand a lot of it, but I think like this ceremony is when they were basically promising to honor their parents. So here's my friend Kevin, who's getting married, and his bride Abby, and her parents. His parents are back here behind this head. But here they are, and yeah, even Kevin doesn't even really know enough Khmer to understand everything that was going on in the wedding. It was really interesting. Afterwards, I'm like, "Did you understand any of that?" He's like, "No, I have no idea what was going on." So, yeah, I wasn't the only one. Here, again, they're promising to honor the parents. See a couple other people jumping in the chat. Howdy Crumbs, how are you? Welcome, welcome. So this was, you'll see different outfits, but this was after they were blessed by the Buddhist monks. There were like 5 or 6 monks that came and did the blessings, and obviously, got to get the pictures. It is a wedding. Cambodians like to take pictures at the weddings just as much as
Yeah.
those of us in the West do. Yeah, Jarlaxle, exactly. Just smile and nod, and do what you're told when you're told to do it.
It was very much that way. It was very much that way with the American family that was there. and it was pretty funny to see them looking around trying to figure out what they were supposed to do next.
Yeah, Kevin's dad over
I don't
here
know.
was the best.
I don't know if there'll be pictures of it, but at one point, Mom and I, the Cambodians were like, "Come, everyone, come sit in the front," and we didn't like know the families at all.
Oh lordy.
And they, we thought it was gonna be like everyone, but no, it turned out to be just Mom and I, and we were like right behind the family, like prominently seated, while they did this whole ceremony. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, they invited us to come sit up back here
It
behind them,
lasted
and
forever.
yeah. But yeah, that was interesting. I had forgotten about that.
Yeah. So we were like plastered
Yeah, that
smiles
was.
on our faces and like tried to sit still. And, like, funny.
And it's 100 degrees, and
It wasn't
yeah,
100 degrees. It was
but it
only
was
like
very beautiful.
93. Come on.
It
But
was very beautiful.
yeah, here's some ugly dude over here next to Kevin. So this was the start of the third day. The third day is really the main day of the wedding. The first 2 days only have a couple events throughout the day. The third day is pretty much all day. Starts. I mean, so the bride and groom have to start getting ready at like 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m. Getting dressed, getting the hair done, and all that stuff. Because at about 7 a.m., you do the groom's processional. And this is traditionally where the groom and a bunch of the guests would walk from the groom's house to the bride's house. So the bride's house is typically where the wedding would occur. Now, and traditionally, most people would get married within their village because it's hard to travel, especially 100 years ago. Even like 80, 90 years ago was 70, 80 years ago was difficult. So most people married within their village, so they would be able to walk from one house to the other. Now that's a lot more difficult, so they just like go down the road a little bit and then walk up. And obviously, Kevin being from the United States, kind of hard to walk from his house. So this is the end of the wedding processional, and all the guests would carry these gifts that would be given to the bride's family. And then the groom would present her with flowers. As you can see, get another outfit. And then they would put these leis on each other. Not exactly leis, because it's not Hawaii, but yeah, essentially. And yeah, then we would go in and
My
continue
pictures seem to be. Hang on a second.
having some issues.
I'm having trouble with my pictures keeping up.
Yeah, there will be a
Maybe
slight
it's me.
delay.
Yeah, there'll be a little delay. So if you mute
Yeah.
the
Okay.
video and just listen to the Discord, it's helpful if you want to talk along with Jeremy.
Yeah. There will be a slight delay
Okay.
between what I'm talking about and what's on YouTube.
Okay.
All right, then actually after basically immediately after this, they go change clothes again for the next ceremony. I mean, like they're in these clothes for sometimes as short as like a half hour, 45 minutes. Sometimes a little bit longer depending on how long the ceremony is. But
These
yeah,
outfits, you guys, are just gorgeous. And the bride had the most amazing smile. She's just gorgeous throughout. It's amazing.
yeah, absolutely. But you see how there were people sitting back behind the family here? So that's where we were invited to sit that one time. Back here, up in front of everyone, in the background of the pictures. It
Dead
was
center.
awkward. It was awkward.
These people that they don't even know, they're gonna look at the pictures later and be like, "Who are those Americans?" I have no clue.
Ben says the whole ceremony was rigorously choreographed by a wedding company. They're the only ones who really know what's going on. Yeah, exactly. Even the bride and the other Cambodians were like, we do what now? What do we do?" And I mean, they go to Cambodian weddings all the time, but even they're like, okay, where do I need to go? What do I need to do? So it's not just the Americans that were lost.
There was a lot of it that you could tell, especially that the mother and the grandmother's generation were very into it, were mimicking the words of the monks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the older generations especially, they knew what was going on, and they knew everything, and yeah, they would chant along with the monks and everything. Howdy, Dwayne. Welcome, welcome. So here I've got a video of basically the band using traditional Khmer instruments. It's about 30 seconds long, so enjoy. Sorry about the wind sound there. It was pretty windy that day. But yeah, I love Khmer traditional music. Some of these instruments are just incredible. I mean, I loved watching this guy here. He wasn't even paying attention. He was just banging on the strings, just looking around, and never missed a note. He was phenomenal. This is prepping for, I believe, the final ceremony or one of the final ceremonies. And just look at how just extravagant it is. It's just, yeah, it's amazing. Okay, so this is not the final ceremony, and this is another one that, yeah, actually, I think I know what this is. I'll talk more about it in a second after we look at some of the pictures. So yeah, so this is the hair cutting ceremony. So again, traditionally, the bride and groom would actually get their hair cut, and now they just act like it. But this signifies, a clean start, a fresh start, a new start together. Um, New hair look, just getting it all, and starting afresh together. So a bunch of friends and family would come up and pretend to give them haircuts. Um, and I went up and did it as well. But one thing that I thought was really funny was, in part of it, you act like you're brushing and cutting the hair, and then you spray them with a little bit of like cologne. So Kevin had this wet spot like right here on his head. I mean, it was like soaked because everyone would just actually spray the cologne on his head. I can't imagine how long it took for that smell to go away. But yeah, this is after the hair cutting ceremony. Looks like something out of King Louis' palace. So much gold. Yeah, absolutely, Charles. A lot of gold. A lot of gold. So these look like they are carrying heavy stuff, and that's because they are. These are actual limes, so this is not light. It's quite heavy. Oh yeah, yeah. Kevin's dad, not exactly mom, but so what Kevin's dad said is he hasn't needed a haircut in 20 years. He himself, Kevin's dad, hasn't needed a haircut in 20 years. Yeah, more pictures. This is all just photography at this point. Just yeah.
That guy with the beard does look like he's struggling.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. So this is the final ceremony, and I just love this picture. I love the way that they look. It's just, I mean, she looks out of, you know, a book right there. It looks just incredible. So beautiful. Just the hair and the makeup and everything, the dress are just very picturesque. But this is the final ceremony before the dinner that night, and this is called the wrist tying ceremony. So everyone would come up and tie strings on the wrist, kind of like this, and basically try to bless them for having a happy life, happy marriage. And it's actually in this ceremony, at the end of this ceremony, that they are officially married. It was very moving. Abby was crying very much throughout the ceremony, and they kept having to come up and dab the tears away. But it was very cool to watch. And Hammer must have gotten some fashion inspiration from Cambodia. Oh, absolutely. With those hammer pants. Yeah, let's go back. Yeah, absolutely. You definitely got the inspiration from Cambodia for sure. Alright, what do we have here? Another video. Not sure what this is. We'll see. Alright, doesn't want to play. Ah, here it is. So that was a brief video from the reception dinner afterwards. I'll show some pictures of the food at the end of the stream because I know all of y'all are big foodies just like I am. So we'll get to that at the end of the stream. Not expecting this. Yeah, another quick video of the traditional music. So yeah, so that was the wedding that we did, that I did at least the first 2 days we were in country. My family went to some of it, but I did some other touristy things other times during the ceremony. So yeah, so that was one of the main reasons we went, but the rest was just to see Cambodia. So up next, I'm going to show just some pictures, random pictures from throughout Cambodia, the countryside, and some of the cities. These are going to be from throughout the trip, throughout the country, in no particular order. Let's start with this video. I think this is video. Okay, this is in Phnom Penh, which is the capital, and it's showing Cambodian traffic.
Oh Lord, crazy.
I was able to cross the
There are
street
no
by the time
laws.
we left. So Jeremy told me to cross the street, you just meet eyes with the moped dude, make sure he saw you, and then just waltz across. It's his job to stop.
Yep, kind of like this guy walking out into the road. You make, yeah, as I said, you make eye contact with the drivers. Make sure they see you. That is key. You have to make sure they see you. Because they may not be paying attention. But then you just walk out and keep a steady pace, keep going in a straight line, and just go.
You don't stop for them; they stop for you.
Yes. Or more likely, they go around you. They frequently won't stop for you. They'll go around you.
Yeah.
They'll figure it out.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, tried to take a bunch of pictures of the country from the vans that we were driving in. So out here you can see a bunch of rice fields. I think about 80 to 90% of the farmable land in Cambodia is rice fields. Lots and lots and lots of rice fields. All these pictures are rice. Even out here.
A lot of them are actually browner than that, because it's the dry season. So yeah, there's a brown one. I know I'm on a delay, but here's a brown one. A lot of
Yeah.
them look like that.
Yeah, so Cambodia, as Ren mentioned, has monsoon seasons. So for half of the year, it rains pretty much every day, and for half of the year, it doesn't rain at all. Like the first dry season I was there, from November, like from mid-November to the beginning of June, it did not rain a single day that I saw. Not a drop of rain. So a lot of farming doesn't really happen then, unless you can do some irrigation. And some areas of the country have very good irrigation and can do farming pretty much year round. Dwayne, who is talking with me? So talking with me is my mom and my sister-in-law. And that
Oh, hi.
Hello.
and that person who talked right before I did, that was my sister-in-law Ren, and the other one is my mom. Yeah, more rice fields. Lots and lots of rice. Um, when I went to Cambodia, uh, a person I met there, doing the Peace Corps as well, had done some research beforehand and found out that the average Cambodian eats about 400 pounds of rice per year.
Ugh.
Eat it three meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Everything is rice.
Their dogs and cats eat rice.
Yeah. Yep. So this is a picture of a couple of more traditional Cambodian houses. Not fully traditional because there is some concrete in them. But most Cambodian houses are up on stilts like this for three reasons, really. One reason is it allows some airflow underneath because these people don't have air conditioning, so it helps keep it a little cooler. The second reason is it gets it up off of the ground during the rainy season when there could be flooding. And the third reason is during the afternoons, especially during the hot season when it can be, 105, 110, 115 degrees Fahrenheit, of course. You want to get out from under the sun, but you don't want to go inside where there's no airflow. So you hang out underneath the house. Typically, you'll see a bunch of tables and hammocks set up, and people will just take naps in the afternoon underneath their house. And I miss my afternoon naps from Cambodia. I miss them very, very much.
And every day is a picnic because they always eat outside.
Yep, for the
But
most
then
part. I
it's
mean,
never cold.
there are some people that do eat inside, but yeah, most people eat outside all day or every day. Yep. Yeah, pretty much inside is basically exclusively for sleeping, honestly. Everything else is outside. Howdy, WSR. Welcome, welcome. You thought it was 2 p.m. local? Oops. No problem. Well, thanks for joining. Here's another house. This is a bit more traditional looking. Again, up on the stilts. Yeah, some nice these people look kind of rich. I mean, they've got a nice fancy stairwell up to the upstairs. Not all of them are that nice. And more houses and businesses and things. More rice fields and waterways. And that picture is grainy and didn't come out well. I'm trying to show. So there's this little motorcycle with this cart that's dragging huge, massive bags of. I think this is cassava heading towards um, Vietnam that they use for biodiesel. There's a nice, beautiful river out in the middle of somewhere. And there are just shops all along the side of the road like this. So people live in the back of this building here and sell this stuff here along the river or along the river, along the road. Um, Charles, the maximum load is not a thing. You're not wrong about that. And you'll
Well,
also
and the crazy,
go ahead.
can I interrupt? The crazy thing about all those shops, I mean, it's like you said, the open downstairs part is the shop and upstairs is their house. But you'll have 20 stores selling the exact same thing side by side by side. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just unbelievable that they are able to make enough money considering the plethora of stuff available there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I always wondered how that worked. I mean, you'll see people, I mean, along one of the roads, there's people that sell like some snacks, and there's like 10, 15, 20 of them all in a row, all selling the exact same thing. It's amazing any of them can get any business. And you'll see this little baby cow here. There are cows just everywhere, just randomly walking around. Um, Actually, in one of the during my time in Peace Corps, I was in Siem Reap City, which is one of the largest, most developed cities in Cambodia, and there were just cows walking down the middle of the road in the middle of Siem Reap. They're everywhere.
And they're very skinny cows.
Very skinny. I mean, you can see the ribs here. They're very, very skinny cows.
But they're healthy though. They're just
Yes.
skinny built.
Yeah. They're not used for meat. They're used for farm work. They're not used for meat or milk, just for farm work. Here's some trucks loaded down with cassava. Yeah. Frequently in trucks like this, you'll also see people sitting on top, but didn't see that in this case. And here is a school, and out front, I'm not sure what this is that they're drying. It doesn't look like rice, doesn't look like cassava, but I'm not sure what this is. But this is basically the way they would dry and prepare the rice and cassava. They would just lay out these rice mats, throw out the rice, and let it sun dry for a couple of days. And birds would come and eat some, but it wasn't too much of a loss. So they would just let it sit out there, and then after it's dry, then it would go get processed to cleaned and processed to be sold.
Yes, the birds would come and eat some and poop on it and walk on it.
That's why it
Yeah,
was clean, and that's also why you always rinse your rice before you cook it.
yeah. Good point.
That's a small village. Cassava, so cassava is used for a number of things. You can use it. You can like grind it up and use it as like a flour instead of wheat. But a lot of the cassava that's uh, grown in Cambodia is actually sent to Vietnam, where they use it for biodiesel and various other things. I'm not sure what all it's used for, but I know it's used for at least those two things. Yeah, it's a random little village. You can see the shops just on the side of the road, and again, people live above the shops where they work. And here we
My
go.
favorite
Oh, go ahead.
My favorite souvenir is we stopped. We were in these vans. You can see in the picture I see on YouTube. You can see he's got a picture of a dashboard there. We rented these vans to get from place to place, and we would stop randomly to use the restroom. And I walked in one of those little shops, and they had just row upon row of earrings in little plastic bags. And I got a set of flower earrings. I like souvenirs like that are just random instead of like at a souvenir shop. So that was cool.
Yeah, yeah, that was a cool little shop. I also had a couple of cute little kittens, like really itty bitty baby kittens.
Oh
They
my
were
gosh, they were
adorable.
so precious.
So here's a picture of a truck with people riding on the top of it. Yeah. Now, I have seen somewhere these trucks are like loaded like way up above the top of the wall of the truck, and then people are riding on top of that. That gets me a little nervous. Not much does, but that did.
I don't know if you have a picture of this, but they will put a family of 4 or 5 on the little moto scooter type of
Yeah.
things. I mean, it's just terrifying.
Unfortunately, I
Babies
don't
being
have a picture of
held.
that.
Oh my gosh,
So
these
if you
are
watch if you're a fan of Spider-Man, there's the second animated one. There's like a Indian Spider-Man, and at one point they show a Vespa, and the main Spider-Man is like, "Oh, there's a whole family on there. That's not really safe." It
Oh yeah.
made me think of Cambodia.
Yeah, yeah. That's Cambodia. I think the most I ever saw during my time in Cambodia on a single motorcycle, and these are like small motorcycles, is 6. Family of 6. Plus they were like carrying bags and things on a single motorcycle.
It'll be like a 2-year-old holding the handlebars, kind of standing in front of in front of the dad. Like,
Yeah, yeah. And then
Yeah,
holding
while the
babies
driver's
and
holding a baby. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Adam, calling the cat guy. Yeah, yeah. Speaking of cats, there's a little ladybug. Hey, girl. And then there's a little fiddle. I wanted to say hi to. Looks like a Norwegian banner on the truck. It kind of does, and it actually might be, honestly. A lot of the trucks I did see had various national flags on them. Might be like, they got some sponsorship money or something. I'm not sure.
oh, tell them about the beer ads. Oh my god.
Oh, yeah. There are beer ads everywhere. I mean, as there is, pretty much anywhere else in the world. But they're like massive, massive beer ad banners all over the place. There's probably some
Banners and, like,
pictures.
they're handing out like umbrella, like a lawn umbrella kind of thing you can put above your bench.
Yeah.
So everyone has like this particular beer brand.
Yeah, right here, right behind the truck, you can see it a little bit.
Oh yeah, that orange looking one, yeah.
Gensburg. It's a German
Yeah.
beer. Yep.
Which I never saw for sale.
Yeah, the only time I saw it, I did see it at the wedding though, so it is a thing. Oh. Here's a video of us driving through the town, just so y'all can see what it's like in a smaller town, not quite as crazy or busy as Phnom Penh. But still, just, people everywhere. Safety last is how it seems to be. I mean, yeah, kinda. To a point, at least.
But Jeremy says it's better than it used to be because folks wear helmets now.
Yeah, it's a lot better than it used to be. I mean, you see most of these people are wearing helmets on the motos. When I was there for Peace Corps, it had been on the books that you had to wear a helmet, but it only really got started being enforced in like 2016 or so. So it is a heck of a lot better than it used to. More pictures of the town. This. I don't know what this. Let's see if I can find. Okay, so yeah, it's a tree farm. So I think this was actually a cashew plantation. I think all these are cashew trees. They do grow a lot of cashews in Cambodia.
Cashews require a lot of water to grow.
Yes, lots
A lot.
and lots of water. Another video. So in this video, we're heading up in towards the mountains where we're gonna go see the elephants, which we'll show pictures of that later. But again, just all along here, all these are cashew trees. Yeah, as Ren said, there is a beer story that will come up later. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I'll go through the rest of these pictures relatively quickly. Okay, so this is more up in the mountains, more jungly area. Yeah, Adam, I'm glad you always wear a helmet. You should. So yeah, most of Cambodia is very flat and very rice farm, but up in the around the edges, especially up in the northeast and the east part of the country, there are a lot of mountains, and it gets very jungly still.
And that's when you're getting close to Vietnam, right?
Vietnam, Laos, and on the west side, border with Thailand. Yeah, and you can see some of that jungle up there. It's not like a tropical. It's not like the Amazon type jungle. But this is the Cambodian jungle out there. It's gorgeous, just absolutely beautiful out there. And as you can see, it's very brown because it hasn't rained in about 2 months. But during the rainy season, it's much greener.
Hey, Mom, I think whatever you're doing is making a lot of background
Okay, I'm done.
noise. Thank you.
And
Sorry.
here's my niece sitting in the grass as we're waiting to go visit the elephants. I just like this picture. I thought it was a really cute picture. Her out
She's
there.
helping me look for butterflies. I collect butterfly pictures.
Yeah. Yep.
My favorite one from this trip is a bird wing. Y'all can Google a common bird wing. We saw one, and it is amazing. It's one of the biggest butterflies in the world.
Yeah. It was a beautiful, beautiful butterfly. So here's a picture of a market. This is the food area, obviously. It's just got some seafood and veggies, and you just come down and get the food and take it home. You do that on a daily basis. It's amazing, wonderful how fresh all the food is.
It's intimidating. Some of them had a powerful smell.
Like the
Yeah.
fish market.
All right. So
But
this.
one of the motels we stayed at had mango trees, and so they would knock a mango down, and we'd eat it for breakfast.
Yeah. So one evening, we were out looking for street food because Cambodian street food is the best. And we came across this place that had these little scooters that you could ride. And my niece wanted to do it. So, of course. Here she is.
They also had tiny mopeds, but the tiny moped person was like, maybe not American.
Well, it was just that she was a little young.
Which was okay.
Yeah.
Well, there was like, I don't know, 5-year-olds riding these mopeds. It was funny.
But yeah, had a really nice sunset there. Ben went mostly for the food. I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
That sweet little grandchild of mine is the apple of my eye. She's the bestest.
Yep. Yep, she is. So this is a picture of a little what's the word I'm looking for? Altar? Not altar.
Spirit house?
It's not a spirit house, but that sort of
Oh,
thing.
yeah, there's the picture, yeah.
I guess altar is kind of the right thing. Basically, it's here to honor the spirits. So Cambodia is a very interesting country religiously. So they are Buddhist. They follow Mahayana Buddhism. But their Buddhism is very mixed with a lot of Hindu beliefs. Shrine. Thank you, Ben. That's the word I was looking for. It's a shrine. But it's mixed, and thank you, Dwayne, as well. But it's very mixed with a lot of Hindu beliefs and a lot of animist beliefs. So originally, the people who lived in Cambodia were animist, meaning they worship spirits and the ancestors, and everything had spirits. You know, the waterfalls, the trees, the rocks, and you had to honor them. Theravada. Okay, yes. Thank you, Ben. I always get those mixed up. Thank you. yeah. So they started. That's how they started out, and then Hinduism came over from India, and they were Hindu for several hundred years, and then Buddhism came over, and that's what they are now. But they incorporated a lot of these other beliefs into their Buddhist beliefs. So you'll still see a lot of these shrines and spirit houses to honor and pay homage to the spirits, I think is really really fascinating. So this is another random picture of some random town, just showing what it's like, and look at all those power lines going everywhere. It's a mess. Their power lines are just an absolute
Terrifying.
terrifying disaster. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and as y'all I like fishies and fishy in Cambodia or Valheim, so I had to get a picture of a Cambodia fishy statue for you all. Gotta get the fishy when it comes on land. Yeah, Ben agrees. The power lines were absolutely insane. So this picture was actually a really cool picture. So off here in the distance on the left-hand side of the picture is the Mekong River. And this river here in front is some other river. I don't remember what its name is, that flows into the Mekong. But here, this is fairly early in the morning, I think like about 6 or 6:30 or so in the morning. And you'll see all these boats coming up and they are unloading the food and produce and goods that will then be taken up by the people on the motos here and taken up to the market to be sold. And this happens every morning, every single morning. All these boats come in and unload the goods and drive up to the market. Charles, not very Spider-Man friendly. No, not very Spider-Man friendly at all. There's a picture of a couple more boats coming in to drop off their goods. There's some boat houses. So these are probably where people live on these little boats. And yeah, there's actually so in the middle of the country there's a fairly large lake called the Tonle Sap. And on the Tonle Sap there are a bunch of floating villages. Entire villages that of these boat houses or houseboats. Boat house. Yeah, they're houses that float. And the cool thing about the Tonle Sap and the Mekong River is, depending on what time of the year it is, the Tonle Sap River that goes from the lake to the Mekong River will change direction. So during the dry season, when the Mekong River level drops, the water will flow out of the lake and into the river and out to the ocean. And the lake gets smaller. But during the rainy season, when the river level is high in the Mekong River, it will flow back up into the Tonle Sap and it will refill the lake. So, since these houses are floating, they have to move their entire villages when the river or when the ocean or when the lake changes size. I always thought that was kind of cool. WSR, can you imagine being the poor cable person having to work on these? What does this wire do? Poof, the city goes dark.
We saw people working on them.
Yeah, and
They seemed to know what they were doing.
the way they work on it is even more terrifying. They just take a ladder, throw the ladder up against the
Yeah.
power lines, and climb up it and work. No, thank you, not me, not me. But yeah, the Tonle Sap river or lake changing sizes produces very very fertile soil, so that when the lake shrinks, all that ground that is normally underwater for half the year is now farmland and used for rices, and it's very, very fertile soil. Captain Crumbs, I'd hate to be the mailman. Well, you won't have to worry about that. There's not really mail service.
No, I didn't see any
Ah,
mailboxes the whole time.
There is a little bit in some of the major cities, but very minimal. There's like a post office where you can get like a PO box, and that's about it. There's no postal service in rural Cambodia. There's basically no
oh,
services of any kind in rural Cambodia. No fire emergency services. It's very limited. Only the hospitals that have ambulances. There's no trash service, so everyone burns their trash. Trash burning day is miserable. There's
I
no
was very
mail service, nothing.
I was very thankful when he was in the Peace Corps that we had the ability to use texting, which was worked really well because I would be getting ready to go to work in the morning and he would be finishing up his day, about 12 hours difference. But a letter, I mean, I sent him a letter or two, and I think it took 2 months to get there. And I can't imagine having him gone that far away and not hearing from him for such a
And
long period of time.
and I mean that's what people in Peace Corps did, 50 years ago, back before. I mean, Peace Corps has been around since the early 60s. So, yeah, there was no email, there was no texting. So, it was only snail mail. Darl
And
says, go ahead.
their snail mail is something slower than snail.
Yeah, and I
That
know
was also shipped to the Peace Corps office, wasn't it?
no, no,
Oh,
it
okay.
wasn't. But I had frequently had letters that just never showed up. Like they say, "Oh, a letter's coming," and it never got there. So yeah, mail service there is not amazing. But Jarl Axel says on the lake they probably just use eel mail,
Yeah.
and Crumb says electric email is the best, better than snail mail. uh, yeah, pigs in a truck, just
Pigs
random
in a
pigs.
truck?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't see that picture yet. Okay.
yep, it's coming. It's coming. Pigs in a
like
There
truck.
it
pigs
is.
in a like pigs in a blanket, pigs in a truck.
Yeah.
I
Both of
missed
them are
that.
going to get eaten.
Poor babies.
Yeah, they don't look too comfy. They don't have much room to move around, unfortunately. So the craziest thing about Cambodian uh, geography, as I said, it's basically like a big bowl, very flat in the middle, and a ring of mountains around the edges. But every now and then you'll get these random hills, these random big rocky hills, out in the middle of nowhere, and it'll just be a single hill. In this case, there's a couple, but it's just very, very interesting. So the cool thing about it, I actually looked it up. Not much is known about the geographic history of the area, but what is known is the whole of Cambodia and southern Vietnam used to be underwater, used to be under the South China Sea. But the Mekong River, which comes basically out of the Himalayas mountains, comes out of Tibet through China, Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, and then down into Cambodia and Vietnam. Uh, at the Cambodian Vietnamese border, there's this massive waterfall. It's actually the widest waterfall in the world. It's like 6 kilometers wide, and that waterfall used to drop off into the South China Sea. But over many, many millennia, all the sediment from the Mekong River built up Cambodia and South Vietnam. So all the land that we see is just sediment that's built up from the Mekong River. And all these mountains are likely limestone mountains from the shellfish and the coral that was under the South China Sea when it was underwater. So yeah, bit of cool geography history there for you. WSR has a theory about the random mounds. Ancient dino doo-doo.
Oh.
Sounds right to me.
Yeah, it seems legit. Seems legit. There's some more countryside pictures and videos. 1 second video. I think I meant to take a picture there. And more random shops. Ah, so here you can see some cassava drying on the side of the road. And again, they just lay it out there. So the islands used to be mountains? Yeah, likely. Likely. Actually, likely it used to be all underwater. Completely underwater. Maybe with a little bit of peeking over top over the water. Maybe like atolls type islands. But yeah, you can see some cassava drying here, getting prepped. And more countryside. I'll go through these pictures pretty quick. We're almost we're taking a lot of time already, and there's still lots to see. This is Cambodia or Siem Reap, and this is Pub Street specifically. I will have more pictures of Pub Street coming up later, but this is like the main tourist attraction. There's bars and pubs and clubs on all along this street, and at night, especially before COVID, back when tourism was still big, they this whole street would just be packed every night with mostly tourists and very drunk people. So if you like that thing, it's a fun thing to do, but it's not my thing.
It was hard to walk because it was just shoulder to shoulder bodies. Very uncomfortable to
Yeah,
me.
very
It
uncomfortable.
was awesome to bring a tired 10-year-old through.
Yeah, and Randy, you didn't even see the worst. It was a lot better,
Oh,
a
I
lot worse
know.
before COVID.
Yeah.
But here we got another more pictures of markets. That's food market and the stuff sellers in the back. Oh, that picture didn't turn out. Oh, nor that one. It was really dark in there, hard to get good pictures.
Did you get a picture of the Happy Pizza sign?
I don't think I did.
We did not eat Happy Pizza.
No. So Happy Pizza is marijuana
Not okay.
pizza. Well, I mean, it's kind
Well,
of
yeah, okay
legal.
if yeah.
It's okay if you're into that sort of thing. Um, but yeah,
That's true.
you can get marijuana pizza. You can get weed shakes, which are incredibly strong. Incredibly strong. I know from experience. Did it once, and yeah, didn't do that again. It was
You
bad.
didn't tell your mother that before.
I think I did.
Maybe.
Yeah, here's Pub Street at night, and you can see it's starting to get a little busier. But still, this is still fairly early. 10, 11 o'clock, it got really, really busy. Apparently, there are a lot of people that are big fan of weed shakes or weed pizza in the chat. Captain Crumbs, where is this? Not that I want to go. I just want to know where to not go. Yeah.
Cambodia.
Cambodia. Siem Reap especially. This is the Siem Reap River. I'll give a little bit more information about the Siem Reap River when we get to one of the other sections with Phnom Kulen. More rice fields. More rice fields. Dead rice fields, or well, not active rice fields.
So it was cool when the rice field is brown. They take their bony cows and they tie them on a rope, and so the bony cow has a big circle, right? And it will go around and eat the dead rice and then poop in your field, and then your field gets fertilized and your dead rice goes away.
Yep. Yeah, so the past couple of pictures, and this one included, are the local market to where I lived in Cambodia. So this is about 4 kilometers from where I lived. So I'd come up here every now and then and do some shopping, get some food. And actually, one of my Peace Corps friends lived about 6 kilometers the opposite direction from me, so we would meet here and get some lunch every now and then, or find a shop that had a free Wi-Fi, so we didn't have to use our limited funds for Wi-Fi. This is the road heading down from the market towards my village, towards the place where I lived. And here's some rice drying. I knew I had a picture of rice drying. Yeah, they just lay it out here next to the road to dry. And I know y'all are a little bit behind, but this picture, this area was one of my favorites in all of Cambodia, especially in my village. So this is about maybe a kilometer and a half from where I lived, and I just love this little stand of trees out here in the middle of the rice fields. And I would come out here several times throughout the year and actually take pictures of the different time periods. You know, when the rice is fresh and bright green, like it is over here on the right, when it's a little more mature, like it is here on the left, and then during the dry season when it's all dead and there's no rice. And it was really interesting to see the passage of time and how the seasons changed. But I never actually went out there because this is property, someone owns this. But I just love coming out here and just sitting here on the side of the road and looking out in this direction. It was just I loved it here. It's so pretty and so peaceful. Okay, we got some more jungle pictures. Oh, a night picture from Siem Reap City. It's just a beautiful moon up there. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous evening. Had to take the picture. Now we got some lily pads or lotus pads, or what are they, Ren? What is it? It's not lotus, but what is it, Ren? Are you there, Ren? I don't know if you're there. Oh well. Yeah, and I think this is the last one for the area or for the countryside. Just us in one of our vans, moving on to the next location. All right, so I've got some pictures of our time in Phnom Penh and some of the things we saw there. So here's another picture of the power cables and the madness that it is. And
Oh,
here's
there's a good wires picture.
yeah. Yeah, Ren, I showed a picture early of lotus pads or what are they, Ren? Not lotus, it's what is
Locusts.
it? Locust.
Locusts.
Locust, yes. The
Locusts.
locust.
Oh no, look at that ugly critter. Oh.
Lotus petals. Nah, no, not at all.
Picture of me?
No, it's Ren.
No, that's not the ugly one.
Yeah, this
Some old
is
lady in the front of that van.
you're a little bit behind, Mom. See if you can move the time slider up. It might
Yeah,
be
I'm as far as I can.
okay.
I have Ren now.
But yeah, this is actually at the Royal Palace. This is where the King of Cambodia lives. Adam, why are you electrocuting yourself? Be careful, dude. Be careful. This is the Royal Palace. I don't remember what all these buildings are. Ren, if you have any comments or anything, feel free to jump in. Otherwise, I'm just gonna show some of the pictures. I don't remember what all these buildings were.
So I will say for history that the king is quite old. He's lost almost all his siblings. It was really sad to hear about. So he doesn't travel as often as he used to.
He
I
doesn't travel at
believe he
all, except for
was.
medical care.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I believe he was resident in the palace when we were there
Yeah.
because he has a flag, which reminded me I'm in the Navy, and when your captain is on the ship or your commodore, you raise up a certain flag so people know where to find him. It's the same thing. Wherever the king is, they have a flag up on the palace. So I thought that was cool. This one is where the king would present. So if you're seeing one, it's got a lot of columns. It looks like it has a stage. It does. Yeah, there's a close up. Yeah. So he would stand up there, and on the other side of these columns is the main street. So he could do his little royal wave. I know you're picturing the King of England right now with his funny wave, and addresses people from there.
You would also entertain dignitaries up here, and there was a stage back up in this area where the traditional dancers would entertain. This is another. I do remember this one. This was another basically stage where the Royal Phnom Penh Ballet would perform.
Oh, do I have time to mention my book just briefly?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so we went to a random coffee shop, and in the coffee shop there was a book called Dancers, and it was about a photographer who in I want to say the 70s,
60s, I
right
think.
right before, like 6 months before the Khmer Rouge took over
Okay, then
and
70s.
just
Yeah, sorry.
yeah, just destroyed this culture, right? He snuck into the back of one of these ballet um demonstrations and took a few impromptu shots of them getting their makeup on. Then the ballet shuts down. All the ballet people had to go be farmers, right? Forcibly labored farmers. It was terrible. 80% of them passed away, I'm afraid. Um, then later, long after, he's in Japan and he sees a flyer in Japan for one of these revival ballet troops. I'll pause here. Ballet, you're picturing like French ballet. No, this is curvy hands, curvy feet, beautiful poses. You might see some pictures of it in the temples when we get to those. Um, he took that picture. He looks at this flyer and he's like, I took that picture. What? And it turns out he gave one print of this picture to a friend of his in France. And then the French dude gave it back to the survivor. And then the survivor used it on this flyer. Which is nuts, right? So he gets in touch with this survivor and he gets to find out what happened to all these dancers he took impromptu pictures of. And they were in a refugee camp for a while and they started a school for this dance for the children. There it is. Yes, this is the ballet. This is Cambodian ballet. And their hands do the most amazing things. And their ankles too. They stretch for ages and it was just so amazing to hear this photographer's story, all the serendipity that had to happen for him to meet these people. One of the people he photographed is now the Minister of Culture for Cambodia altogether. So she survived forced labor, she survived all the horrors. Um, and then in the refugee camp, which was actually run by the Khmer Rouge, oddly enough, she started a school for children to learn this again because the art was almost dead. And then, yeah, mom just posted a book. Be prepared before you read that book.
It's a
Be
rough
prepared.
book.
Be
It
prepared.
was what happened, what the horrors of
Mhm.
what the Khmer Rouge did.
Yeah. But to give you
Yes,
some point of reference, an estimated 20 to 25% of the Cambodian population died in about a 4-year period due to starvation, murder, and disease.
You
And
can't even tell when you're there. You can't even tell. These are people. This is the 80s. That most of the people there have some kind of memory of this, and you
yeah,
would never know it to walk around. You would just, it's mind boggling.
they
They
do
don't
talk
talk
that
about it. They don't, yeah, like everyone's grandpa survived this. A lot of people's
that
dads
yeah.
survived this, and
My
you will
my
not see it
my
mentioned
host
at all.
parents lived through it. Yeah.
So, yeah, the cultural minister of Cambodia now survived all that, started up a school, revived the art, and has now become the minister of culture. It was an amazing book. It was just a random find in a random coffee shop.
Yeah. 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 As my mom said, First They Killed My Father is a fantastic book. It's actually sort of a memoir from a girl who survived it. She was very young at the time, I think like 5 or 6 or something. Um, but yeah, very, very good book. It's very tough, Very tough. Be prepared if
Yeah.
you want to read it.
Bring
You'll
bring your
never
alcohol and your tissues.
Yes.
you'll never be able to spill rice ever again. If I spill rice, like I scoop it all up and put it back. It's
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's one time where her food for the day was 8 uncooked grains of rice. Uncooked grains of rice. So I'm like, don't spill the rice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, back to happier
Yeah,
things.
back to
Thanks for
the
letting me share
palace.
about that book. It was
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for sharing about it. Yeah, there's just these paintings all along the walls of the palace. Just they're gorgeous.
all the paintings tell stories too. So there's um two different troops or clans or tribes of gods, effectively pseudo gods, and they sometimes fight and they sometimes cooperate. It reminds me a little bit of Norse mythology, if anyone knows that canon, where like there's the two different types of gods, families of gods, and it's not that one is bad or good, really. It's just they sometimes fight and sometimes don't. So you see a
Yeah.
lot of like these epic battles here. Yeah, it's the two different families of Hindu gods duking it out.
Yep. Now there's weed pizza. Oh, what a world. Yeah, yeah, Captain Crumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the country is still very much suffering from the Khmer Rouge, but it has progressed a lot since then as well, and healed a lot as well. So this picture is called a stupa. It's basically a grave for this is like for one of the main kings. I can't remember which one. I think it may have been like the first king after independence, or I can't remember who was in here, but yeah, very very fancy grave. Now you'll see that there's not a whole lot of coloration on it. There's no painting. It's just very plain. And the reason why they did that is because the king wanted to be like, hey, look, I'm just a common person, just like you. I don't have fancy graves. Meanwhile, he's got what was it? Ran like 6 pounds of gold up here on the spire on the top or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, common person, my butt. So, no, not this, but this building here next to what I'm taking a picture of here on the left was the Silver Palace or the Jade Palace. And inside we couldn't take pictures of the inside, unfortunately, but the floor is entirely made out of gold. There were, what, a little over 1,000 gold tiles, or not gold, silver tiles. About 1,000 silver tiles that each weighed about 1.2 kilograms. And yeah, the entire floor was silver. It was amazing. Another stupa here. Yeah, common with the 40-foot grave marker. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Crumbs. What? You guys don't have 6 pounds of gold for graves? Yeah.
That's our next lifetime.
Yeah. So here, behind the Silver Palace or the Jade Palace, is a model of Angkor Wat, which we'll show later. There's the Royal Palace. It's just beautiful. See ya, Kayla. Thanks for stopping by. So much gold everywhere. I think this was like one of the like platforms that the king would be carried on.
So this is the elephant museum. So it's old elephant stable. in the palace, but of course there's no elephants there anymore. So they have a few of like this is I guess where he would mount the elephants. And then they had a few of the little elephant pallets that he would sit on, which didn't look comfortable or secure at all, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and there was like a room full of elephant statues that he just collected randomly at some point. It was hard to appreciate each one because there was so many of them and they all
So
looked
many.
exactly like the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
We forgot to mention the tuk-tuk drivers. So we were going to the palace, and these tuk-tuk drivers will just pop out of nowhere, and they'll be like, "Oh, the palace is closed today," and then they have a picture, a laminated picture of like all these places they'll take you instead. Um, and like you don't know where they are or how to get back. It's just like a picture of Monkey Temple. Like, here, I'll take you here. Like, no.
I mean, it's safe for the most part.
But they were
Can
just
you
trying to make a buck.
can
Yeah.
you go back to that picture of the Buddha real quick?
Yeah, I will in a second. But I was just
Okay.
gonna say
Yeah.
that this
Sorry.
is a temple, a Wat. So this is one of the Buddhist temples. So this
It's
is
a
the
what?
Wat, W-A-T,
A
Wat.
what? A what? A what?
Not a what, a Wat.
Stop, Mom.
Ah,
Stop.
sorry.
And inside here is the shrine to Buddha, the statue, lots of statues of Buddha. And Ren, I think you were gonna talk about
Yeah. So this
something here.
whole area is beautiful, and this painting behind, I don't know if we can zoom in on that painting. It is um just gorgeous. So that's the Bodhi tree behind him, Buddha, with the heart-shaped leaves. The idea is that he sat there, and that's where he obtained enlightenment beneath this Bodhi tree. Yeah. And behind him is like pastoral scenes. Gorgeous. Look at the details in those leaves, right? Look at the details of that painting. And then in front, do you see this kind of halo he has? It lights up in the cheesiest neon Christmas light,
Well,
ridiculous clash with this beautiful painting. And I just thought it really showed the culture, like the mix between the like beautiful old stuff and the beautiful new stuff. It was really interesting.
Hmm. And then Ren, you want to talk about this guy over here?
No, he scared me so much. This little, it's not a mummy, you guys. It's like a little
It's a little
statue.
statue.
All the way, there he is. Yes. I thought he blinked and looked at me when I first came in because the lighting isn't great. And yeah, he scared me. See, he's like the patron saint, sort of this Wat. Like some monk who was really cool. I couldn't find out any detail on him because the letters I couldn't read. But yeah, he scared me.
No, Jollock's still not dead, just a statue.
It doesn't it look like a
It looks
mummy?
so lifelike. Yeah, all along the walls and the ceilings of the temples are painted with these just gorgeous, extravagant paintings of stories from the Buddha's life. And I don't
and when
know
were
any
these
of them.
things made? What time in history are we talking about with a lot of this?
Couldn't
Oh,
be
I
that
don't know.
old, I wouldn't
No, this
think.
one's probably like 80s, 90s, I would think.
Oh, okay.
Maybe before the Khmer
I
Rouge, but
would have said
probably
a little
not.
older than that, but I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of these paintings look very new. So either
Yeah, it's not
the
like Angkor Wat.
yeah. So here's a statue or a memorial in Phnom Penh. It's called the Independence Memorial. So this was built after Cambodia gained independence from France in the 1950s. I think it was 56, maybe. I can't remember exactly.
Sounds good to
And
me. I don't know
here's
either.
my niece with a kitty. She's like me and loves kitties.
Oh
So
yeah.
I do have some pictures with her with kitties.
She would take all of them home with her if she could. All
Yep.
of them.
You want to tell about the crooked tails, or is that too much to go into?
Or I can try and do that. So it's kind of hard to see in this picture, but the tail of almost all Cambodian cats is bent. It has this like hook bit here, kind of like what I'm doing with my fingers. It happens somewhere along the tail. Sometimes it's near the end. Sometimes it's they have a shorter tail. Sometimes it's they have basically no tail and it's right up on their butt. That actually goes back. It's a great example of evolution and natural selection, or of selection, not really natural selection. But it goes back to the Khmer Rouge as well. When food was so scarce, people would eat pretty much anything they could find, and that included eating cats. But the cats with the crooked tails were basically looked at as cursed or bad luck to eat. So those were the only ones that survived. So now almost all of the cats in Cambodia have these crooked tails, and any cat that you see that has a crooked tail is one that survived, descended from one that survived from the Khmer Rouge. There's some people waiting for breakfast. This is our first hotel in Phnom Penh, and it was a great hotel. Wonderful,
Amazing.
wonderful hotel. Best hotel we had during our time there. Got very lucky with it.
That's a salted pool behind them.
Yep.
They don't do chlorine, so like you're a little more buoyant than normal, and the water feels soft. It's like water with Epsom salt in it. It's really nice.
Yep. It's wonderful, wonderful. This is the street that our beautiful, wonderful hotel that I just showed a picture of was on. So it went from off of this street, you come into this. Kind of a
How
little
much did that
oasis.
hotel cost us?
$75 a night, something like that. $80 a night
For 2 rooms?
for 2 rooms. Or no, per room. Per room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty expensive.
Yeah, that was one of the. I think that was the most expensive hotel we had.
It was worth every penny.
Yeah.
The owner was awesome.
Of course, another kitty picture. There's another picture of the hotel, or pool. And I'm not sure what this is. This might be back at the palace. Not positive. I think so. Yeah, this is back at the palace. This is at one of the Watts. So these are stupas again, where people are buried, and like a family would have a stupa and they would bury their family members in there.
This is one
Naga
that
statue.
Ben and I just walked through. It was just a random functional Wat. It was beautiful, but it also functioned. I want to say as like a homeless shelter. So there were folks like hanging their laundry in among those little stupas, and it was interesting because it was almost like we were walking through their home. So
Yeah, a lot of the Watts, especially in the cities, do help out the homeless.
do they know what a Naga is?
I don't think I've mentioned it yet. So a Naga, so this is a Naga. It's typically a 5 or 7-headed snake. It's actually a form of a Hindu god. That has, again, in Cambodia with the joining of Hinduism and Buddhism, has become a very integral part in Buddhism in Cambodia. And we'll actually see some statues. Well, I'll get into more of that story when we get to Angkor Wat. A Bodhi tree, big Bodhi tree.
Ancient. It had a dedication tablet. Oh yeah, you can see it there. Did we get a focused picture on that dedication tablet? I want to say it was mid 1800s. We did not, but it's old.
1887.
1887. There you go. Yes, the snake people from World of Warcraft, exactly.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's where it came from. So here's a picture of the Tonle Sap River running through Phnom Penh as it's heading into the Mekong, off to the left or off to the right, out of frame. And here you can see the Cambodian flag, the Buddhism flag, and the King's flag. So you can see all three of the flags lined up here. And Ren, I've got some pictures from the museum that you and Ben went to.
Oh, good. I hope you got a picture of the baby war god.
I
That was my
did.
favorite.
I did.
Good. That's the peacock that the war god rides.
Okay.
I'm not going to try to say his name. I'm sorry. It's the Hindu war god.
And here's your baby statue. Yeah, a sec for you to be able to see it.
Yeah, I can't see it yet, but basically this is the war god as a baby holding hands with his daddy. And I just thought that was a really universal statue. Isn't that nice? Aw.
Yep. Even gods like their
Like their
kids.
bees.
Their kids that are going to be the god of war. Here are the fighting monkeys.
Yeah, so they're brothers. I googled this story. The one of them, I don't know which one, left the country too long. He went on some kind of epic adventure and they thought he was dead. And then the younger one took over the kingdom. And the older one, when he came back, before he asked any questions, because that's the kind of story this is, he just got pissed off and started attacking his brother. So that's the context there.
Uh,
Yes, patty cake. Yes.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you know anything about this other than just
I
incredible
think it's the
carvings.
same thing. I think. I'm not sure. It's another angry battle with bats.
Yes. Oh, here's a painting of an Apsara shadow. Apsara dancer shadow. Beautiful painting.
Oh yeah, this is a modern painting. So they were you have the shadow of the past, and you have the Wat, which is another part of the past, and then you have the future, and it's another one of these ballet dancers. So kind of hope for the future, overcoming the shadows of the past.
That's nice. I like that. I
Mhm.
don't think I'd seen this picture before, but that's beautiful.
No, it was in the museum. The last wing of the museum was a modern art part.
Very cool.
Which, by the way, they just have out in the air. Like there's no attempt to protect anything in this museum. Everything is just exposed um, to the open windows. It's bizarre.
Yeah. Yep. The little
Except that one isn't a case, but a lot
yeah,
of it was just out there.
little temple thingy. More what massive
Another
wires.
thingy. Another
Yeah,
thingy.
another thingy. And these with some kitties.
Look at those
This,
wires.
yeah. Here's three of us with our tour guide in the temple. This guy was awesome. He knew everything. He had been like a tour guide here for what did he say, like 12 years or something like that.
Mm,
And he
at
knew
least.
everything. It was incredible. We got really lucky to have a really good tour guide. Food time. And that is Phnom Penh. After Phnom Penh, we went down south. My niece wanted to go to the beach, so we did. We went down to a province called Kampot, and to go to the beach, we went over to a tiny province called Kep. And this is where we are in these following pictures, in Kep and in Kampot. Nice beach. You know, the water was nice and warm. Well, ish. It wasn't cold.
There were invisible jellyfish.
Yep. Yeah, there
Kay
were a
was
bunch.
not a fan of that, but
Yeah, there were a bunch of tiny jellyfish that stung you if you swum out too far. I got bit by something brutal that really hurt. Actually, Kaylee, niece did too. Yeah, here's some of the mountains. You know, finishing up the um the bowl that is Cambodia. We're really close to the Vietnamese border here.
yeah, my cell phone pinged in Vietnam.
Yeah. Actually, this island that you can see out here, very light shadow in the background, that is an island that is owned by Vietnam.
There were seashells just everywhere on the beach.
Yeah.
Beautiful, fully formed little seashells. Very nice.
Did you show the crabs?
Don't think I have a picture of the crabs actually. No, not in this.
We went to a crab market and picked out the crabs, and they went and cooked them for us. That was very sad to my granddaughter.
Yes.
It was sad, but then she was like, "But I want to pick the specific one I'm gonna eat." It was weird.
Yeah.
Well, there was one she really did not want picked.
Oh, is that what she was doing? Okay.
Yeah. Are looking for cool shells. There's an ugly dude. Big red beard.
They have dwarves there.
Oh, we did
Obviously.
not do that cave this trip, unfortunately, Jarl Axel. Didn't do that.
Had to moderate the travel for the little one.
Yep. Had a really nice sunset when we were down at the ocean. Really nice sunset. What was the water temp? I don't know. What would you say the temperature of the water was, Ren?
Warmish, nice.
It was comfortable.
Yeah.
Here we are riding a tuk-tuk. I think this is when we're heading off to the pepper plantation. Yeah, because we got the mask because there was lots of dust. We were going through some road construction and there was lots and lots of dust and it was miserable. But the tuk-tuk driver had masks for us, which was
He
very
did.
nice.
He was so smart.
Yeah.
He just had them under their little secret bench. Do they know what a tuk-tuk is? A tuk-tuk is a moped, right? Attached to a wagon, basically.
Basically.
So the guy up front in the helmet, he's on a moped, and then we're in the wagon in the back, which all the wagon rails are intricately carved. But you don't even notice because they don't even it's not a big deal to them.
Yeah. And here's my niece trying to protect herself from the dust. And my dad being ridiculous. And we stopped by, on the way to the pepper plantation, stopped by a beautiful lake. More like a reservoir used for irrigation and I think water as well, but gorgeous, gorgeous lake. We saw a bunch of really big snails. And here's my niece looking at and looking for snails.
She was very excited to find a deceased snake in that water as well.
Yeah, yeah. Little huts where people can stop and sit and get some food. None of them were actually active when we were there. Yeah, it was a beautiful, beautiful lake. Banana tree. Yummy bananas. I don't remember what this tree is called, but it has some really nasty looking spikes on it. Not a tree you want to mess with. My niece is not too happy about having to wear this this hat to protect her against the sun. But we had to get a picture of it because she was super cute.
This is a Campot pepper farm.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so here, underneath the shade here, you'll see the pepper plants growing. So the reason why they shade pepper plants is pepper normally grows in the forest and it's a vine and it grows up on the trees. So it needs the protection of the trees to protect it from the sun, from getting too much sun, protect it from getting too much water, and also protect it from the wind. But since on the plantation it's out in the open, they have to protect it somehow. They use these black material here to help protect it and shade it a little bit until it's fairly well grown. Yeah, just lots and lots of pepper plants. And it was actually really interesting because they explained a little bit about pepper, how it's grown and how it's produced and everything. And there are 4 types of pepper. There's green pepper, red pepper, black pepper, and white pepper. And all of those come from the same plant. All of them come from the same berries. It just depends on when they're harvested and how they're um,
Processed.
thank you, processed. I was going to say produced, but that wasn't right. How they're processed afterwards. So the um, green pepper is the unripe, unripe peppercorns. And they're just picked early. And they can be dehydrated and used, or they could just be used fresh. But if they're used fresh, they don't keep very long. But if you take the green peppercorns and then dry them, they turn into black peppercorns. And it adds a little bit more of a spice, a little bit more heat to the pepper. If you let the peppercorn, if you don't pick the peppercorn and let it ripen, it turns into the red pepper. Yeah, here's some pictures of some peppercorns. So it turns into the red pepper that can then be dehydrated and used. Or it could be basically shaken and use abrasion to remove the red skin and leave just the seed, which is the white peppercorn. So all of those come from the same thing, which is pretty cool. And Campot pepper, if you ever get a chance to find it, you can find it online as well, but it is some of the best pepper I've ever had. It is just so good, so flavorful, fairly strong heat, but it's just so good. After we um welcome folks to the channel Learning with Kongveal. Absolutely. Yep, you got it. Hey, Gilded, welcome, welcome. After we went to the pepper farm, we went to a salt plantation, or after we went to the pepper plantation, we went to a salt farm. But what they do is they basically pipe in salt water from the ocean and put it in these holding areas and let it dry, let it evaporate. And when it evaporates, they pump in more water and keep letting it evaporate. And when there's enough salt, they scrape it up and clean it and
So
process it and sell it.
I'm just going to interrupt here because the mention of the peppers, one of the souvenir peppers that was purchased is a salted black pepper.
That was so
And
good.
they're relatively soft, and I just ate one and my mouth is on fire.
Yeah, it's a pretty hot pepper, but the salted pepper is so good. Yeah, lots of salt, I guess. So you can see some of the salt crystals forming. It's really cool to see. And yeah, they just pump it in using this irrigation system and just let it dry. Pretty simple.
It's got all fish and stuff in it and bird poop, and it's pretty startling.
Yeah. Here's a picture of the main market in Kampot. Kampot City here. And I saw this sign and had to take a picture of it. Mainly for the last two lines. Got some background noise
Yeah,
somewhere.
that's me. I'm sorry. I'm removing myself from this presence.
Okay. But yeah, the last two lines here, I love this sign. Broken English spoken perfectly. Yep, that sounds about right. And so in all these containers of water, there were little fish, which are used to eat the mosquito larvae to prevent mosquitoes from growing. And my niece loved them. She wanted to catch all them all, and she loved looking at the little fishies in there.
My hobby actually is fish keeping, and I loved them too.
Yeah.
A little effort. Like I have to do so much stuff to get my fish to stay alive, and they're just like, "Here, fish, have a vase with some water in it." They're
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Yep. And I had to get a fresh coconut because fresh coconut water is the best. You know, from the coconut. My dad, on the other hand, not a fan.
He had a bad one once. He
Yeah,
said this one wasn't too bad.
yeah. But I just love the look on his face, the picture, of course. Alright, and after we went down to Kep and Kampot, we went up north, up into the jungle, and we saw elephants and did a jungle trek. So we'll take a look at some of the pictures of the jungle. But before we did the elephants, we went to a waterfall, and this waterfall was just huge. It was tons of water coming down. It was gorgeous, gorgeous waterfall.
Which is amazing that there was so much water because it was the dry season.
Yeah, yeah. I can only imagine what it was like during the rainy season. Here's a video of the water coming down off the waterfall. It's just so much water. And the sight from the top of the waterfall was just beautiful as well, overlooking it. It was actually kind of cool. It was a two-tiered waterfall, which was really cool. Yeah, I have a feeling that during the rainy season, all this would be underwater. So much more water coming through. Yeah, just beautiful, beautiful area. Cambodia is a beautiful country. And as I said, we went to see some elephants. So the place we went was called the Elephant Valley Project, which you can see here. So this organization is a fantastic organization. They're a nonprofit organization, and what they do is they really try to protect three things. They protect the elephants, they protect the environment, and they work with and help and protect the native people who live in the area. Um, and the tribes that the people that live up here are not Khmer. They are, which is the Cambodians. They are Bunong. They're Bunong people. Um, Many of them don't even speak Khmer. Some do, some don't. But this organization, they all the elephants, they have, I think what they say, 11 elephants currently. All of the elephants are rescues. They're all former working elephants that they've either purchased or have rented from the families. Rented. They're paying the families to take them. Um, and they're basically helping them rehabilitate and relearn how to be elephants out in the jungle. They'll never fully reacclimatized and they'll never be able to be released back into the wild, but at least they can not have to work and they can be elephants. And it's a
It's
wonderful
amazing.
organization.
It's amazing to think about the fact that they pay the people to take their elephant and take care of it. And the reason is that for that is because it becomes a loss of income for that family. So they've got to pay them for that income. Somebody, that's like somebody paying you to take your dog off. Well, no, you paying somebody to take their, I don't know. Anyway, it was amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
ahead.
But yeah, if you have the opportunity, I would highly recommend donating some money to the Elephant Valley Project. They, as I said, do a lot of really, really good work, and they're really struggling right now. They're all tourist based and donation based funds. So during COVID, they had no one coming because there were no tourists. And even since then, they're only at about 50% tourist rate where they were before COVID. So they're still really struggling to do all their work, and they can't take any new elephants like they would like to. So if you have the opportunity, please, please donate to Elephant Valley Project. I'm actually going to throw their link in the chat real quick. Project.
And then with the indigenous people, they provide education, they provide medical care, they provide jobs. All the people who work at the Valley Project are the indigenous population from that village. Um, and they actually provide them a certain amount of food
Mm-hmm.
at no cost as well.
Yep. Yeah, it's an incredible organization, and I can't hype them enough. Oh, we got my niece in the field again. That was such a good picture. I had to show it twice. So throughout the ride up to Mondulkiri up in the north, where we saw the elephants, we saw these sticks stacked like this. We had no idea what they were. So I finally had the opportunity to ask someone at the Elephant Valley Project, and this is the stem of the cassava plant. And the root is what's used for the food and for everything, the biodiesel. And then they chop up these sticks into little sections and replant them to grow more cassava, which I think is really, really cool. I was like, I have no idea what those are. It's not sugar cane, not bamboo. What the heck are those sticks?
It's
So
amazing that those things will root.
yeah. But yeah, it was
Over and
really
over
nice to
again.
finally find out what it was. What was that, Ren?
Over and over again.
Yeah. Here we are beginning our trek out into the jungle. And it really was. I mean, again, it's not what you typically picture with, the Amazon rainforest, but it got very, very jungly very, very quickly. And it was incredibly dense. Really, really just, I mean, it was a jungle. Really cool. I loved going out and walking in there. Order that. But here we have elephant. Find the elephant. Can you find the elephant? I mean,
Oops.
in this picture, we're
Nope.
not that far away from the elephant. And I mean, if you know what you're looking for, it's not that hard to see. But I mean, it's amazing how well they blend in. It's just amazing. And
What
they're,
are we about 40 feet from the 40 feet or so from it?
yeah, probably about that. Yeah. And it's amazing how quiet they are, too. I mean, they do make noise, but, this giant, huge elephant probably makes about as much noise as, 2 or 3 people walking through the jungle. It's just incredible. It's the green thing, isn't it? Yes, Whisper, it's the green thing. Ninja Fent. Yes. Yes. So yeah, so all these elephants, we saw two elephants on this day. Both of them were a bit older. I think one was like about 65. The other one's estimated to be about 60 or 55 or something like that. Um, and both of them were working elephants. So you can actually see this one has a very pronounced spine and has very compressed ribs. And it's because she was used to uh, carry a lot of like heavy weights and used in like logging. And it was the harness and the weights that she carried that really affected her body like that. Um,
So sad.
yeah, very, very sad. But she's now living her best life. She's just out there being an elephant, eating, walking around. Or elephant pictures. Oh, we'll come back to them. We'll get more elephant pictures soon. But yeah, we also did a jungle trek, and these pictures aren't going to be exactly in order, unfortunately. But we came across this on a tree, and this is a sweat bee hive. So the cool thing about these sweat bees is they don't have stingers, they don't bite, so they don't have any way to protect themselves. But if you look here, right next to it, back in this hole in the tree, there's an ant nest. And the ants will bite. And will bite, and it's, from what they said, it's kind of painful. So they protect the bees. And they get some nutrients, some honey from the bees. So it's a very mutualistic relationship, which is pretty cool.
So because I'm an amateur entomologist, those are banded yellow stingless bees.
Ah. Thank you, Ren.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, just walking through the jungle was just gorgeous. And we came across this waterfall. So this, no, not him. So one of our guides here was one of the workers at the Elephant Valley Project, and is Benong. He is one of the Benong people, and well, he didn't tell us, but one of the guides told us that the Benong actually uh, hold this place, this waterfall, as a holy site. So sort of a holy site. There's a spirit of the waterfall, spirit of the water here. And every year, I think twice a year, they come out and sacrifice pigs to the spirit of the waterfall. And you can actually see down here in the bottom left-hand corner, there's some honeycomb and a banana in there. And someone came out here and left that as a gift, as a sacrifice to the spirit of the waterfall. But yeah, we were actually able to swim in here, which is really cool. As you can see, Ren's over here swimming. But we were able to get up. Huh?
Go ahead.
But we were able to get up under the rock under here, under the waterfall, and pass up underneath the waterfall, get up to this rock, and then jump in. And that was really cool. But this
And
water.
we were able to walk through the waterfall too. That was just really awesome.
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah. Yeah. Being under the waterfall, I mean, it's not that tall of a waterfall, but that water is coming down hard. It's a lot. It's heavy. Water is heavy stuff. But yeah, this water was frigid. It was so cold up in the mountains there. But yeah. Howdy, Snake. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. I'll show the food at the end of the stream. You haven't missed the food yet, Snake. There's more walking through the jungle. Again, it was incredible. So a lot of this area is also used for rice fields by the Benong people. And they like clear cut an area, farm for a season or two, and then move on to another area and let it regrow. And I don't know if that's necessarily what happened in this area, but like some of this growth here is like 2 or 3 years of growth since they last clear cut this area. And our guide said something that I love. He said, "More rain, more grow," meaning more rain, more grow. You get a lot of rain, you get a lot of growth. But the way he pronounced the rain, it sounded a lot like he said Ren. So we get more Ren, we get more grow.
Oh no, one's enough.
Yeah, this jungle is just so cool. So pretty. I got some water buffaloes. Water buffaloes are so cool. Such big animals. And look at those horns. Those horns are just... You don't mess with them. Don't mess with those horns. We got a nice sunset over the mountains. In chat, I love that you guys are talking about Crumbs being El Serpentine being a super villain. That's great. Not distracted at all. Here we
Is
are.
that a hole in the tree that has sunlight shining through it?
I think it's a lens
It's a
flare.
lens flare.
Oh, it's really interesting.
Yeah. I do have more elephant pictures coming up, but before we left the Northeast, we went to a coffee farm, coffee plantation, and we got some fresh coffee and actually got some coffee ice cream that we're eating here. That, I mean, you guys said it was basically like just frozen coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must smell like a sherbet kind of thing.
But this was our driver
cream.
for about half the time. He drove us up to Mondulkiri, up to the elephants, and then drove us on to the next city. He was great. I wish we could have gotten him the entire time, but he had other clients, unfortunately. Yeah, he was a great guy, great driver. So this is where we stayed up in the mountains, up in Mondulkiri. Just in these little huts. So there was electricity, there was flowing water, limited flowing water, but there was flowing water. Um, but that's about it. There's no air conditioning. We had to sleep under mosquito nets. I had hot water. Ben and Ren in them, and my niece did not. So yeah,
It
very
was
very
just one night
rustic.
though.
It was 2 nights. We were up there 2 nights.
It was
Was it? Yeah, it
actually-
was 2 nights.
Yeah.
That's true.
It was actually nice there because it went down to about 65.
Oh, it's way too
Mhm.
cold. Way too cold that night. Here's some pictures, more pictures. We're going back to the beginning of the Mondulkiri, so we're back at the waterfall. We see some people who actually live in the area up here doing some laundry in the background. And my niece and
Yeah,
I,
we like walked around their house. It was-
yeah, so they like
Yeah.
live back here in this house back here.
So when we get to this jungle here, there is a noise like a sword being sharpened on a grist mill or something. You know, like a wheel, and you put this.
Yeah,
There's cicadas, and you would never know they were bugs. Even they're crazy.
It
It's
sound-
loud and metallic.
sounded very metallic, mechanical, and oh my God, was it loud! Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Thank you, Ren. We had to walk across this bridge. That was just a couple of planks. That was fun.
She was thrilled to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. How many were on the trip? There were 6 of us. 6 of us on this trip. Here she is pointing out that one of them left their shoes behind. See you, WSR.
I'm looking at the Elephant Valley Project, and it says that in the last 50 years, decimating the elephant population has happened. There are now 70 captive elephants left in Cambodia and 400 to 600 left in the wild.
Yep, not many elephants left, fortunately.
It's another effect of the anarchy.
Yeah. Well, not anarchy, but
Relative.
communism.
Nobody cared if people killed the elephants.
Well, no, they intentionally killed them.
Yeah, even better.
Yeah. No, there was government. There was definitely very evil government. So here Kaylee is, guess what? With a cat. And also she made some friends here up in Mondulkiri. And she and this little girl here to the left of her had the best time playing each evening we were there. I mean, they had a
No
blast
mutual.
running
Well, no, yeah, she
across.
spoke English, didn't she?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
she
so.
spoke a bit of
Yeah.
English. Yeah, not much, but she did speak enough. Yeah, it was so fun watching them play together. All right, now we're back at the Elephant Valley Project. More pictures. More elephant pictures. So this guy here by the elephant is what's called a mahout, basically a caretaker, a friend and caretaker for the elephant. So they spend all day, uh, not not the nights, but they spend all day out with the elephant, protecting them, um, feeding them. Sometimes some of the older elephants get bananas and other fruits to help supplement their diet because their teeth are getting worn down and aren't able to eat the native plants. But yeah, he just spends all day out here hanging out with his buddy, with his friend the elephant.
How many times do they replace all their teeth in their lifetime? Do you
I
remember?
don't remember.
Like 8 or something.
Something like that. Here is eating here she is eating a banana. It's amazing how they can. I mean, their trunks are just incredible. So strong yet so delicate at the same time.
It's a good picture.
That was a great picture, and the next picture is an even better picture. Yeah, Snake, big girl. All of the elephants they have except for one are female.
We didn't get to see the one because a wild bull came up and fought with him and actually hurt his leg, the poor thing.
Yeah, dislocated his
Dislocated
hip.
his hip. Yeah.
Well, and another wild one got hold of one of their females, and now they have a baby.
That's
Yep.
Which is
true.
actually not good
Yep.
because they're such a family oriented that that baby needs young elephants and a family group to raise it. And this is an entirely old population.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, it's not great. Yeah, this elephant here was actually spent pretty much the entire time we were there, a half hour or so, and it was just sitting there digging in this tree, in the trunk of this tree, and found out that they think it was because there were bees in there, and it was trying to get at the wax and the honey. And just sat there digging at it, digging at it, digging at it. And of course, the obligatory uh, elephant dung picture. Thank you, Mom. I had to put it in. I saw it. I'm like, I had to put it in.
It's big.
Yeah. And chilling after lunch before we go off on our mountain trek.
Lunch was very yummy.
Yeah, they fed us.
Yeah. So here are some pictures of those. What were they? Banded yellow something or other bees.
Banded yellow stingless bees.
Yeah. Here we go. Here's a picture of some of them.
You can see
And
their yellow bands.
yep. Friend, we've got a picture of some of us crossing a log. I like how you're using your stick to balance.
Yeah, there you go. Science. Oh man.
Are they happy? Yeah, the bees are happy, that's for
Oh
sure.
yeah, they were very
Yeah,
happy with their little ant guardians.
yeah.
They were set.
There weren't too many bees, Snake. We did see like several beehives around, but I didn't really see a whole lot. We're back at the waterfall. This waterfall is very, very nice. One of 3 waterfalls we saw on this trip. And
This
here,
was the best one by far.
yeah. Oh, I don't
We
know.
weren't even we weren't even expecting like
Yeah,
a waterfall. This was a jungle hike, right? And then we get there and here's this beautiful waterfall and they're like, "Yeah, go ahead." And it's got a cave. It's amazing.
yeah, yeah. It was so cool. Hey, Chisel Chip, how you doing? How you doing?
Hey, Chisel Chip.
So here Kaylee is making yet another friend. Um, this guy here was actually one of the founders of the Elephant Valley Project. He is Benong, and this is his daughter. Um, and yeah, it was actually really interesting trying to talk to them because like what was it like he didn't speak or
So
no she
he didn't
didn't speak
speak
Khmer.
English.
Yeah, he didn't speak
She didn't
English.
speak Khmer.
Yeah,
So I would speak, or Kaylee would speak, and then someone had to put it into Khmer for him, and then
typically me who isn't great at Khmer.
he would put it into their indigenous language for her. The other cool thing is her name is Gylie or something similar, which is the
Kylie. Yeah.
indigenous equivalent of Kaylee. So they were
Kai.
thrilled.
Okay,
They were
yeah,
thrilled.
yeah.
They had like
Yeah.
effectively the same name.
Yeah, yeah, it was really, really cool. I love this picture. This is one of my favorites from the entire trip.
I intend to reach out to them and send a care package to that little one.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
maybe Kaylee and that little one can stay in touch with each other. We'll see.
yeah. I certainly hope so. So we've got another couple of pictures from the coffee plantation. So these are coffee trees, and here are flowers on the coffee tree that will turn into coffee beans. And of course, Kaylee loving the animals. Gotta say hi to the puppies. And picture the coffee and coffee ice cream. And that was our trip up north into Mondulkiri.
The problem with the puppies, y'all, is that they are not pets. They are
Hmm.
no touchy puppies.
Yeah.
So poor
The
Kaylee
cat.
would keep trying to make friends with all these puppies, and their owners, for the most part, would be like, no, maybe not with the petting.
Well, and
Yeah.
the cats too. None of them are vaccinated. They're covered with fleas, mange, all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
It's kind of sad. So many of them are just homeless dogs running around. Dogs and cats.
Yep.
Oh yeah, the chroma.
Yeah. So Big Fat Snake asks, "How was the coffee?"
Mm.
Ooh, I roast my own coffee beans, and I have some of their green coffee beans that I am roasting. You should come try some.
Yeah. So basically, after that, we headed east to Siem Reap. We did have a stop in between. We actually saw some pictures from that stop. But there really wasn't a whole lot to see there, so we just headed on to Siem Reap and headed on to Angkor Wat and the Angkor Wat area complex. That's where we are now. And here's Kaylee. Had to cover the knees because Angkor Wat is an active religious building. It is the largest active religious complex in the world. And it is massive. Let me I meant to pull up the statistics of how big it is. That real quick. So for those of you that know hectares, it is 162.6 hectares. For those of you that know acres, it is 402 acres. Massive. See if I can get a picture from the sky, from the air, so you can see it. Ah, yeah. Go. So here you can see Angkor Wat. So here's the main temple, but all of this area is part of Angkor Wat and is the religious complex. So this boat that goes around it, I don't know how wide it is, but it is 5 miles long. The wall that surrounds the interior on this side is 3 miles long. It is huge. It is a huge, huge complex.
And it was built when?
It was built in the early 1100s. It was completed, I think, about 1153 or something like that. And it was built as a Hindu temple. So you'll see lots of Hindu stuff. So like the Naga, and I don't know what this lion type creature is supposed to be, but it's something in the Hindu religion. But Angkor Wat and most Hindu temples are actually built after their they're basically their version of Mount Olympus. I can't remember what the name of the mountain is, but it's where the Hindu gods live. And that temple, or that mountain, has 5 peaks, with the center peak being the tallest, which you will see when we get further along in the pictures. But then it's in the middle of the world, so it's got the world surrounding it, and then there's a mountain range surrounding that, and then the ocean surrounding that, which is the big wall, and then the moat represents the ocean. So most Hindu temples, especially built during this time period, were modeled after that. And it was just incredible. The carvings, the entire building was covered in these intricate carvings. Like every inch, every square centimeter was covered in these carvings. It was just amazing. We'll see some more pictures of it later. But here you can see Angkor Wat. You can see at least 2 of the peaks. The other 2 are right behind it, and then the large central peak of the mountain. And it's incredible looking at it now. I can only imagine what it looked like, 900 years ago when it was brand new. Here's some pictures of some of those carvings. And all of these carvings depict stories and gods and angels and things from the Hindu religion. So in the middle of Angkor Wat, it had these pits here that used to be like pools, essentially, or pools of water.
Mm.
Yeah, it was an awesome trip to Chisel Chip. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm glad to get to share it with all of you. So here is a carving of some Apsara dancers, which are the traditional dancers, and you can really see how from the pictures I showed earlier, how their clothing is really still very modeled after this traditional clothing from the original Angkor Empire period. And even all the pillars here had carvings. Literally every surface was carved. And the amazing thing about a lot of these carvings, a lot of like these pillars here and these windows, is it was all carved down from a single block of sandstone. And they carved out all these pillars. It's just incredible. And they did all this with iron tools. I mean, there were no electronic tools at all. I mean, it was 900 years ago. How did they do this? It's just incredible. Incredible. Every time I see this, every time I go there, I'm just constantly in awe. Just what they did, what they were able to manage. There's a headless Buddha. There were lots of headless Buddhas.
The neck is a weak spot.
Yep.
Nobody chopped it off on purpose. It just fell over.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't really show up very well, but all along the edge of the central tower, there were these circles that had carvings of animals, of different animals in them. So you can see an octopus. I think this is a horse. We got a monkey here. And actually, in one location, there's something that looks a heck of a lot like a stegosaurus. They don't know if that's what it is or not, or if it's some unknown animal with some stylized like vegetation behind it, but they don't know. But it's possible that they may have known what stegosauruses were, or at least known about stegosauruses when they built Angkor Wat or when they carved these. I wonder how many people it took uh, at the time, yeah, to do all this. I don't know. Lots.
Yeah, so many man hours. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
And Crumbs, you're right. They had something that we didn't, which was time. And the reason for that is, a lot of these people were farmers and farmed rice. And during the dry season, when there's no water, there's less farming to do. So they built the temples. It's just incredible to go see this. So these stairs up to the central tower, I mean, they were steep, steep stairs.
Poor Kaylee wasn't allowed to go. They thought it was too dangerous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
there were
very
some
unfortunate.
older people going up those stairs, and Kaylee would have been much more safe,
Yes, absolutely.
but they didn't want to get sued.
Yep. The carvings still just amaze me. So beautiful.
Yes, Adams, but was it Happy Pizza?
Hopefully not. Oh, that's a bad picture. Ugh. There we go. This is a much better picture.
So it took. I'm sorry.
No,
It
go ahead.
took. I'll say half hour, probably less than that even, to get to the end of the line to come up here. Our guide or one of the guides said that before COVID it would have taken 2 to 3 hours, and tourism has not recovered yet. So we lucked out.
Yeah, this is actually my third time going to Angkor Wat, and this is the first time I've gone up to the top for that reason. So all along the walls of the main building are these carvings, and there's going to be several pictures of them, and they depict several stories from Hinduism. I don't remember what all of them are. There were several battles. There was like the creation story and a couple others. But I mean, you see this carving here. The entire walls, all four walls on the outside, had these carvings, and it was just. And these aren't short walls. I mean, look at this. It goes on for a long, long way.
One of the walls was a depiction of hell and heaven, with the tortured people below. Yeah, go back. Yeah. So below you see like the people with their arms up in there, and they're being tortured, and then above there's this orderly little parade. That's heaven.
Yep. And then this is Earth in the middle.
Yeah. I can say the creation story basically if you have time or.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Okay. So we may see as he goes through these pictures, there are two different parades of folks pulling on a naga. So those two branches of gods that I mentioned earlier wanted to, they wanted to churn the rivers of creation for something. I want to say it was to get
The milk of immortality.
the milk of immortality. I was going to say that, but they're gods, so now I'm confused. Anyway, they were churning the rivers of creation to get a potion of immortality. And so the way they churned it was by pulling this naga back and forth and back and forth. And while they were doing that, this mountain that the Wat represents sprung out. And one of the other gods had to like stabilize the mountain, and everything was starting to collapse, and that's what one of the walls is. This them pulling on this snake.
Yeah, I got the picture
And
up
the
here
snake
now.
volunteered, so there
Yeah.
you go.
And it's because it's not a snake, it's a god.
The naga, yeah, the naga.
Yeah, you can see the naga here being pulled by all these god type creatures. Yeah, it was a pretty cool creation story. And then there was this. This was very sad. Kaylee loved this kitten.
Mm.
And it was so adorable. She wanted to bring it home so bad.
Look at that kitten.
I understand. I wanted to as well. It was such a cute, adorable, adorable baby kitten.
So we weren't letting her touch it at first either.
Yeah.
For the reasons we listed before. And she was getting so upset. And finally the owner of that restaurant came over and was like, the kitten's fine. You can hold the kitten, you can play with the kitten. These are my kittens, I take care of them. So then she was able to hold the kittens.
Yeah.
But still, she
there were
wanted to
several of them. They were so precious.
Yeah, there were like 4 or 5 itty bitty babies. So cute. Here's us outside Angkor Wat. About to head in.
That's a nice naga.
Yeah. A big Buddha statue. Or, I don't know if it was Buddha. It may have been a Hindu god. I'm not sure. No kitty, but you can take home an elephant? Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if the HOA will agree with that.
I don't know if the mom and dad will agree with that.
So here is a statue that shows that joining of Hinduism and Buddhism. So in this story, Buddha was sitting and meditating, as he does, and a huge monsoon storm came up, lots of rain, and it started flooding. And the Hindu god, whatever his name is, or her name, whatever its name is, that turns into the Naga, saw this and wanted to show that yes, Buddha is the Buddha and he is enlightened and he is important. So he curled up underneath Buddha to lift him up out of the water, and then opened up his hood to protect him from the rain. It's a pretty cool story, and it's actually really interesting. I wonder, I was talking with my brother, with Ben, about this, and it, it's a possibility, at least, that the reason why this story happened was it may have come about after the Angkor Empire converted from Hinduism to Buddhism. And they were trying to be like, look, even the Hindu gods say Buddha is right, Buddha is the way. So trying to help convince the people that Buddhism is the right religion, and that even the Hindu gods believe in it and agree with it. Don't know if that's the case, but I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, the amazing thing is even the ceiling, even the roof or the ceiling is just intricately carved. Every inch of it. Amazing. So here's the center of them churning the milk of creation, with the gods stabilizing it and the two armies of angels or gods or whatever pulling on the Naga. And that is Angkor Wat. But we did go to a couple other major temples. One of them, if you've seen, what's it called? Tomb Raider, the Tomb Raider movie, or actually one of the Transformer movies, you may have seen this temple. It's called Ta Prohm. So it was built about the same time that Angkor Wat was. But it was actually built, the emperor built it for his mother. But the amazing thing about this are the trees that are growing over top of it. You can sort of see a tree sticking over here, but just wait till we see it from the other side. I'll see that in just a second, and here it is. Look at these roots. Look at how it is growing over top of this temple. I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, these roots are massive. They just, the seed fell and it's just like, all right, I'll grow on top of this temple, no problem.
Can you go back one picture?
Here? Or to know which one.
No, one more maybe. Yeah, okay. So here, you see that parts that's in rubble? On the other side, they actually took all the rubble out and laid it out and cataloged it, and very slowly put all the rubble back where it's supposed to be in order to reconstruct the temple the way it was supposed to be.
Yep.
They did it like archaeologically soundly, and with it, there was a sign. I don't know if you got a picture of it.
I
That
did,
when
yeah.
it explained the whole process. Maybe you're going to talk about this later.
No,
But
no,
I
it's
thought that was
fine. Yeah.
really, really cool.
But I do have pictures of that
Mhm.
coming up later. But yeah, it's really, really
Okay.
cool. Thanks for
Mhm.
sharing. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, these just roots and these trees were just incredible. And again, it also had the carvings of the all over the place. Incredible, beautiful carvings. Another headless Buddha on top of a Naga, on top of the Naga. True, Buddha was born Hindu. That is true. You're right. And Adam, I would be happy to talk to you about that over email after the stream, or at some point when we both have time. I would be happy to talk to you about streaming tips. Yeah, this temple is just, it's really cool. So yeah, here's what Ren was talking about. So the top picture is what they saw, just rubble. and then they categorized every single
Oh, yeah,
stone,
there it is.
organized it, stacked it, and then rebuilt it. And it's just incredible the work that went into it. Decades of work.
And then that on the yard there is an original irrigation system to keep
Yeah.
it from flooding during the monsoons.
Yep. And then here's what it looks like in real life, not the picture that's on the other side. Incredible reconstruction. But one of the main attractions of this was the trees. I mean, look at this root. This root's probably like, what, 2-3 feet tall? Something like that. I mean, just massive roots.
Personally, it drove me nuts the number of times people mentioned Lara Croft. Like, okay, I don't care about Lara Croft. Can
Yeah.
we talk about the cool temple? Like, oh my, one Hollywood person was here once upon a time. All right, fine.
Yeah.
That's my get off my lawn speech.
Yeah, I think this is the main picture that's in the or main tree that's in the movies. Still really, really cool to see. Yeah, it's cool that the roots needed support. I mean, they're big, heavy trees. It ran.
Thanks, Crumbs. Thanks.
So here we got some beehives hanging from the trees, which is really cool.
It's up that branch, a little U shape.
Yeah, yeah, here and all these are beehives hanging down. So this is another temple that I would have loved to see in its heyday, because all of these holes and all of these stones throughout this room were once filled with gems, with precious or semi-precious gems. I can't even imagine what that room would have looked like. Holy crap. Wow. More trees. More trees and big roots. And yeah, that was Top Ram, which is a really cool temple. So the last temple that we saw was Angkor Thom, also called Bayon. So this is a lot closer to the main city center of the Angkor city during the Angkor Empire. We didn't actually get to go to where the main city center and the admin buildings were and everything, unfortunately, but we did get to see Angkor Thom, which is a pretty cool temple. We couldn't see all of it because they were doing some construction.
Oh, this is the one with the monkeys and bats.
Yes. Yeah. So here we are driving through what is known as Victory Gate. If you look here, you can see a face. There'll be lots of faces coming. But yeah, that got us into the area where the Bayon Temple was. And then there were these ruins here. I don't know what they are. I don't know what these buildings were used for. No clue. Your guess is as good as mine. But this, which we didn't get to see, is the elephant wall or something like that. So there's a bunch of carvings of elephants along here, and then up behind it is where the main city center would be. But here we are at Bayon, at the temple. And again, you'll see that it's modeled after that Hindu mountain. Oh, we got some happy monkeys.
You didn't take pictures of the happy monkeys.
Apparently I did.
Come on.
I just saw a picture of monkeys. I'm like, I'll throw a picture of monkeys in there. Didn't realize that's the one I chose. Oops. Yeah, cute little monkeys. Yeah, you'll see, so there are a lot of faces carved in, and the face is of the emperor, I believe it was Jayavarman the Seventh, who was the one that built this temple. One of the most famous and one of the most well-loved emperors from the Khmer period, or the Angkor period. There's a cute little monkey and little buddy. Unfortunately, there were people feeding the monkeys. Not ideal. I took a picture of this Buddha for the main reason to show the back of the head. So this is one where there was the Naga. I mean, you see the Naga underneath, but there would be the Naga hood. So you wouldn't really see the back of the head. But even with that, they carved the hair curls on the back of the head. I'm just always amazed at the detail that they put into every single one of their statues and every single one of their temples. There's just incredible, incredible detail. Some pictures of giant faces.
Those giant faces are my favorite.
They are really cool. They are really cool. And of course, more carvings on the walls depicting Hindu stories. And Buddha statues and altars. Okay, and so here, what we have here is it's a linga, which is a how do I keep this relatively PG? It's a male reproductive organ. That's a phallic symbol. And then up above it, so this is underneath one of the spires. So and up above it is the female. So we got the male down below and the female up above, being the spire. This is unfortunately the picture didn't really come out very well. Kind of dark, but it was a very good depiction of the Buddha with the Naga statue.
And these phallic things,
The lingas, yeah.
are lingas, are there for fertility
Fertility, yeah.
of the community.
Of the kingdom, of the empire, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see more lingas shortly. Lots of lingas. We'll see 1,000 lingas. Here's a cute little monkey that came running after us. He wanted food, I think. Actually, I think he wanted to get the bats. There were some bats above us, and I think he wanted to catch and eat a bat. He's climbing up trying to get to the bats. Yeah, Top Rom's or not Top Rom, Bion's a really, really cool temple. Of course, I had to take a picture of a kitty for my niece, and someone gave it a little bit of water, which was really cute. It's a pretty cat. Lizard. There were lots of lizards. Eating bats, you say? Yeah, yeah.
It was trying.
It was trying.
They were noisy bats.
Very noisy, yes. We're getting close to being done. We've only got a couple more things. But one day we went up to a place called Phnom Kulen. That's not Phnom Kulen. Yeah, we went up to Phnom Kulen. Now, Phnom Kulen is where the Angkor Empire was founded. So, before Angkor Siem Reap was the capital of the Angkor Empire, it was down further south, closer to where Phnom Penh is currently.
And date the Angkor.
So yeah, so the Angkor Empire was founded, I think, like mid 800s, like 850, 860, something like that. But the king before that had come up here, come up north, and saw this place and was like, okay, yeah, this is where I'm going to found my empire, and I'm going to found the Angkor Empire, and this will be my capital. And I've always wondered why until coming here. And I get it. And I hope after seeing these pictures, you'll get it too. So this is going up the mountain, up the Phnom. Phnom means mountain. So we're going up to Phnom Kulen, and just looking over the area, and already it's just gorgeous out there. Then we got to this cliff, and yeah, just no words can describe it. I'll just let you look at the pictures and make your own conclusion.
They said that was what, 5K across?
Yeah, I think that's about what he said, or what he estimated. He didn't know for sure, but that's what he guessed.
Wow, indeed.
Incredible, incredibly beautiful. No, Snake, I forgot my feather cape, so I didn't go jump off. And then after we went to the cliff, we went up to the top of Phnom Kulen, and up there was a temple and a really cool Buddha carving, which we'll show in a second. But there were lots of Buddha altars along the way, lots and lots of them. Lots of Buddha altars. But here we are up at the very, very top. And the top of the mountain, the very top of the stone, is carved into a Buddha statue. And this statue was what, probably 20 feet long? 30 feet long? What do you guys estimate it? How long did you think, how big do you think this thing was?
Yeah, say 25.
25 feet? Yeah.
Mm.
Big Buddha statue. And it was just carved out of the rock. That was the top of the mountain. Droxel says that it looks like a famous pulpit rock in western Norway. Huh. I'll have to check that out someday. Too bad you don't like heights. Yes, heights don't bother me. Eight meters? Okay. Thank you, Crumbs, for those who are don't use freedom units.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Which is most of the viewers, honestly. So yeah, here my niece and my mom are getting blessed. Similar to like what I did when I got this. I don't know if I have I meant to show a video of it, but I didn't. But she did a good job. She went up and got blessed by one of the temple workers. So it's really cool. Glad she decided she wanted to do that. Neat experience. Now we're heading over to see our third waterfall of the trip. And this waterfall Oh, 8 meters is a guess. Is 8 meters not 25 feet? That's what I assumed you were doing. Yeah, okay. Yeah. 7.6 meters is 25 feet. So yeah, probably about 8 meters-ish.
Hold on.
Yeah, this waterfall, this is the top of the waterfall. This is not the main waterfall. But this waterfall, oh, I don't know what that is. But here's the waterfall. Here we are at the base. So this waterfall is like was the heart of the Angkor Empire. This is where it was founded. This is where it started. And it is a very important and holy site for the Cambodian people, which kind of annoys me with the people swimming in it, especially people who are dressed inappropriately for a religious, holy, important, culturally significant site. But, you know, whatever. Regardless, ignore the people. Look at the gorgeous waterfall. It is a beautiful, beautiful jungle waterfall. That keeps popping up. But it's just, after seeing this, after seeing that view from the cliff, and after seeing this waterfall, I get it. I get why he wanted to found his kingdom, his empire here. I get why he moved his capital up here. Because this place is special. It is beautiful. It is incredible. And it is just, it's a special, special spot. And I get it. So, in order to make it even more holy, and to help with the fertility, we're heading over to the Thousand Lingas location. So there's this river here, more of a creek, where they diverted the water. This happened in the 9th century, so late 800s. They diverted the river away from here, and they carved all of these lingas, all these phallic symbols, into the bed of the river. 1,000 of them. And it happens over several hundred feet, several hundred meters. And yeah, they're just everywhere. 1,000 of these things all throughout it.
They kind
And
of look like a bunch of Legos all lined up.
yeah, it does. And the idea is that the water from this river flows over these lingas and gets blessed and becomes holy water, and basically holy water and very fertile water, and then it washes into the Siem Reap River, which flows into the Tonle Sap Lake, which was the center of the empire, and therefore it blessed the entire empire with fertility, with good fertility, and all the land and all the rice fields and everything. And it was amazing. It just went on forever. They were all over the place. So with all those 1,000 lingas, there were 2 representations of female reproductive organs. This is one of them. It's kind of hard to see with the glare, but there's one here that didn't have a hole, had it plugged up. And then there was another one just down the river where this center part was open, had a hole. And there was a reason for that. So this one comes first, and it is the representation of a woman before marriage, with her reproductive organs closed. And the second one was after marriage, with her reproductive organs open. But yeah, 1,000 male organs and 2 female. That's an interesting way to do it. So, oh yeah, this is really cool. I had forgotten about this. So this is a little spring, a freshwater spring. It's called the Dragon Spring, or the Dragon Well. Because the belief was that every morning a dragon would come up out of the well. And it happened because there was that belief, because the way the sun rose, it would shine on the well and would cause this just beautiful, beautiful coloration in red and yellow coloration. And this well, as it was incredibly pure, clear water. But people who would come up here, or some people would come up here before they get married, and they would wash themselves in this water, wash their face at least in this water, to purify themselves before their wedding. And I think I might have a video, but here in the center, you can kind of see it in the sand here. The water, you can see the water bubbling up. You can sort of see the effects of it here. I think I've got a video of it that shows that. I'll see if I can find that. Yeah, there's this really cool tree. It was a very neat spot. And Kaylee drew this really cute bunny in the sand. It was really, really cute. Had to take a picture of that. I had to share it. Yeah, just got some other pictures going back through these areas. We'll flip through them pretty quickly. Here's been oh, what's the word? Doing the thing with the Buddha statue, the Buddha altar.
Lighting the incense.
Yeah. Yeah, doing the thing with the Buddha. I don't have a video of it. I thought I did. Oh, I do. So, so you can see here the water bubbling up underneath the sand. It was really, really cool to see that. Yeah, that was Phnom Kulang. So that was where the Angkor Empire was founded about 1150 years ago. We also went to a butterfly garden and a zoo. I've got a couple of pictures from those. Nothing too much. But this butterfly garden, they really try to like catalog and protect. It's sort of like a conservatory type place. So they harvest all of the eggs, which you can see here. Protect the caterpillars. Get the chrysalises and protect the butterflies. So this is how much work they've done. So in December 2023, they collected 9,860 eggs, which means they collected them and counted them. And then they counted the ones that hatched. 616 or 6,069 hatched. And then they counted how many caterpillars died and how many were deformed and how many healthy pupa were. And they collected and counted and protected every single one of these. And I can't imagine how much work that was. I mean, look at September. Almost 16,000 eggs were collected. Holy crap. That's just insane. Oh, sorry for those of you who have arachnophobia. Here's a spider. But Annie's super happy that she got some butterflies to land on her. Very cute. I got some pictures of some pretty flowers. There are a lot of really, really pretty flowers here. Butterflies. Oh, and then we went to a zoo. And they had some tigers. I saw one of the tigers. This was he about 2 years old? 2-year-old cub?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here playing.
Big kitten.
Yeah. Very much a big kitten. He loved these little or these hanging logs. He was just playing with them so much. We actually got to see them feed the tigers. There's actually his mom is back here hiding. But the mom would always
Just
run
chilling.
over for the food first, and then the baby would try to come in and try to get it, but then run away because nope, that's mom's food. Don't mess with mom. Yeah, they were gorgeous, gorgeous animals.
They were on the other side of a glass panel, but we were within just a couple of feet of the mom when she was lying down by the window.
Mm-hmm.
It was just amazing to be that close and be able to see every hair on the tiger.
Yeah. So this is a civet, which is the animal that eats the coffee beans and then poops them out to make Kopi Luwak coffee. A very expensive and, in my opinion, decent coffee. That was a cute little bugger, though. Cute little guy. There are a bunch of snakes and other things. This is a really cool snake. So we got two snakes here, and they literally are just hanging out there, not moving, and they look like sticks. You would never thought that they were snakes if you didn't know what to look for. It was amazing. There's some otters.
They were so cute.
They were very cute. This is a myna bird, which was a really cool bird. Very loud, but they can also
Is that the one we
almost
could talk to?
yeah, it almost makes
Yeah.
human
Yeah.
sounds.
No, so if you come up to her and go, she'll do it back.
Yeah. Or if you
Or
even
him.
come up and say hello, it will almost say hello back. It doesn't quite speak human, but
Hmm?
it can make very human-like sounds. They're incredible birds. Of course, got some crocodillos. Also cute little guys. Big fat snake, you hate yourself? Why? You shouldn't hate yourself, snake. Don't hate snakes. Don't hate yourself, man.
Snakes are very important. We
Yeah,
would be overrun with rats and mice if it wasn't for snakes.
that is true. Crocodiles were
Snakes
really
were
cool to see. Just chilling there. Yeah, here's a picture of us right next to the tiger. I love this picture, too. The tiger's looking at my niece, and he's looking back, making eye contact with the tiger. Very, very cute picture. I love tigers. Tigers are the best. That. So this is right before the otters are getting fed.
They were so excited.
So excited, so painfully loud.
Hmm.
Also saw some sun bears. And got to see them get fed. They're really cool. So this guy's got a coconut that he's holding onto with his front paws, and then he uses the claws on the back paw to shred it to open it up.
This is why you don't want to play with a sun bear.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see, what's this guy doing? Tiger says, "You look tasty." Yeah, probably. Yeah, sun bears are really cool creatures. I think they're the smallest of the bear species, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, he gets the food and turns around with his back to us. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
I love this video of this tiger hanging his head off, just like a cat. Hanging his head off the side. Okay, I'll play a little. Okay, I'll play. Ugh.
It's hot.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Mhm. What was the temperature there? It was about 90 to 95 Fahrenheit for the high for most days. So
Hot.
about 32 to 35-ish for the high for most days. Some these are Mekong crocodiles. Did you bring the laser pointer? No, didn't bring a laser pointer. This place also had a really nice aquarium. Had a lot of really cool fish,
Mm-hmm.
including a Kaylee fish and a Kongveal fish.
What?
Mhm.
Just wait for it to come up. You'll see it.
Ah, yes.
Oh, right, I remember.
Yeah, that's cool. It had this little tunnel that you could go up underneath and be in there with the fishies. And of course, we had to get eaten by the giant shark. Oh, oh, when he's the popcorn. That's so funny. What a silly
Let's
girl.
say that.
The popcorn
What is?
She's being eaten by the shark while she eats the popcorn.
Oh, right.
by shoving her face in the the popcorn holder, not by using her hands. And then
Nah.
of course, Dad's eating her as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Megalodon. Thank you, Crumbs. That was a Megalodon. Yes. So speaking of being eaten by things, the last night before we left, Anise wanted to get her feet eaten by fishies.
Mm-hmm.
So
It was
we
so
went and did
weird, you
that.
guys. It was very intense.
Yeah, they just fish came up and ate the dead skin off of their feet. Do sharks eat popcorn? Really? I guess so. I guess so.
They eat people who eat popcorn.
That's for sure. All right, so the last thing that we did was we went out to where I lived for 2 years with the Peace Corps. We went out to visit my host family. And my host work site, which was awesome to go back. It's the first time I've been back since I finished Peace Corps and left 2018. But we had a couple of stops along the way. The first was to the Barai. That's Baray. This was a man-made lake, one of two man-made lakes made during the Angkor Empire. And they were used to collect water during the rainy season that can be used for irrigation during the dry season, so that they were able to, or while most areas of the world could get 2 rice harvests a year, in Cambodia, because of their incredible irrigation system that was way ahead of its time, they were able to get 3 or even sometimes even 4 rice harvests per year. And it's all because of these huge, massive lakes that they built and the irrigation system that they built along with it. That's what we're looking at now, is one of these 2 big lakes. And they're actually still used for irrigation, or at least this one is still used for irrigation today. The other one is not a lake anymore. But this one, they still use it for irrigation in the area. And it was incredible. I mean, you can barely see the other side. It's just huge, huge lake. Here's a picture of all of us there. And actually, out here, on this island out in the middle of it, there is a temple. There are temples everywhere. What's that? There was another there. Yeah, here you can see where it flows out into the irrigation system. So yeah, still used. Still used today. Where in Cambodia is the lake? It's basically like right in the middle of the country. If you look at a map of Cambodia, you can't miss it. It's the big one right in the middle. The Tonle Sap. Oh, this one that's made is just north of that. Here, let me pull it up real quick. All right, so here we got Cambodia. I meant to do this at the beginning. So we started out here in Phnom Penh. This is where the wedding was. Then we went down south to this area. This was where we went to the beach at Kampot and Kep. And then we went back up over to here to see the elephants. Then we stopped here for a night where we didn't really do a whole lot. And we went all the way around here to Siem Reap. And here up in Siem Reap is where Angkor Wat is. Up here is Phnom Kulang. And over here is the East Barai. I mean, let's see, what's that? 1 mile. So yeah, so this lake is probably about 3 miles long by about a mile wide. So massive, massive lake. And then it used for irrigation for the surrounding area. Hey, Daddy K, welcome back. I love elephants too. You missed the elephant picture, so you'll have to go back and check it out. But yeah, the other stop that we made was at a silk farm. Unfortunately, they weren't doing tours, but we were able to walk around and watch them weave the silk and make things with it. We did that a little bit. I don't know if we were actually technically really allowed to, but no one stopped us. We were told that we could go in by one of the guys that worked there, so we did.
It was amazing to watch these women do that work, and the patterns were just intricate. And I bought a couple of silk scarves, and this is what, 4 feet by 2 feet or something,
hmm
and which I can't, you know, a little over a meter by half a meter or something. Can you hear me?
Yes.
And I know, you know, she wanted to sell them to me for like, oh, I don't know, less than $10 a piece, and I talked her down to 7 a piece, and now I feel bad about it because it took hours of work to make those scarves, and I paid nothing
Well,
for them.
Mom, honestly, the ones that you made were not made by these. These were not the handmade ones. Those
Oh,
those
that makes me
those
feel
would have
better.
cost you like $40 to $50.
Oh, well, good. Well, I'm glad to hear that
Yeah,
because I
no,
was
no,
feeling
no.
bad.
No, so
Excellent.
this organization that we stopped by is another charity type organization. So
Oh, I didn't
they
know that.
train these women, and a lot of these are poor rural women that don't have education, and they train them and give them jobs, give them a livelihood, and the things that they come from here are you'll pay a lot more for it.
Well, you should. It was
Yes,
amazing work.
yes, absolutely,
So mine was made by people in a sweatshop.
yes.
That doesn't make me feel any better.
Sorry. But yeah, it was incredible watching them work. Just, it's amazing what they were doing. Here they are weaving the silk thread. Again, unfortunately, we weren't able to see the full tour where they show how they take care of the silkworms, how they harvest the silk, and then how they weave it, and then how they turn it into the scarf or whatever it's going to turn into. We still got to see a little bit of it, which is pretty cool. But then we headed on to my village. And some of these pictures and things you've already seen, but this is our tuk-tuk ride out to the village, out to the market. And as we were driving through, I just had this huge smile on my face. I felt back at home. I'm like, I recognized all these things. I'm like, I know this place so well after living here for 2 years. But one thing that was a big shock was this traffic light. That was new. That was not there when I was there. There was no traffic light here. And I'm glad they put in a traffic light, because this intersection is a mess. But yeah, it was great to be back. Again, I already showed this picture. This was turning off from there, heading out to the village. Apparently seeing the rice again, rice drying. And more areas from my village that we already showed. Again, things are going to be a little out of order, but we did go to one of the temples, my family's temple, the Wat near my house, my family's house, and got to look around. So that's what these pictures will be. So this building here is not used anymore, but it was originally used to cremate bodies. Now they have another nice new furnace, more efficient furnace for cremation. Before they put the ashes in the stupas that we saw earlier. Yeah, it's a cute little temple. Wat, I love being here. My family didn't go here very often, mostly on like the major holidays. But yeah, it was always nice to go there. So my niece did not join us to the temple. She wasn't interested. She didn't want to go, so she stayed behind.
It's like the last day of 2 weeks, and she's it's been busy and
yeah. She was over it. She was done. So she stayed back with my host mom, who didn't come. My host dad went with us. But when we were on our way back, we saw that Kaylee was at a different house. And what had happened was one of these kids, I'm not sure which one it was, who lives at this house that's about 2 or 3 houses down from where I lived and where we left my niece, where we left Kaylee, had stopped by to, I think, get some eggs or something before she headed home from school. Now, she goes to an American-run private school, so her English is... Sorry, cat fur flying around. So her English is fairly good. She can speak English. And Kaylee went with her. She was like told or invited to go with her. So she ended up here playing with these kids, of course, making more friends once again. And here just playing in the sand, as you know, kids do. She had a blast there.
Mm-hmm.
But this was my family's house. So comparing it to some of the traditional houses that I showed earlier, it obviously looks a little bit different. I mean, it's not up on stilts, it's huge, it's all concrete. There's concrete all on the ground. They've got cars, they've got 2 cars. Yeah, my family was fairly well off.
Did they have cars when we went there before?
They had one, they had the truck.
Okay.
We rode in the truck to head into Siem Reap to see the concert.
Yeah.
But yeah, my family was very well off for Cambodians. Now, one thing I do want to mention before we go further is here we've got one of the spirit houses. So every house, every building, and many areas in the country have these spirit houses. And that, again, is going back to the influence of the animism in the Cambodian culture and the Buddhist religion. So you'll give sacrifices to the spirits, you know, give them some drinks, give them some food, and light some incense for them. And you'll see that at every building, every house in Cambodia. At least those that aren't Muslim families. I don't think they do that as much. Some of them might, but I don't think it's as common. But yeah, here's my host brother. So when I left Cambodia, this kid was 11 years old. He's not 11 years old anymore. He grew up. He's not allowed to do that.
Is he like 17 now?
Yeah, he's 17 now. It's not
Hard as a
acceptable.
whip.
Yeah, it's not allowed. I'm not okay with this. Not at all. Again, the pictures are going to be slightly out of order, but here's my host brother again. And we're having dinner with them. And this food, I mean, all the Cambodian food we had was good. If it closed the door behind me and startle him, it will come up. He was leaning up against it, and
His host mom was like, "Oh, I need to feed folks." Okay, so she hopped on her moped, drove down to the little market, I guess, bought a bunch of food, and came back. It took like 5 minutes, and then she just started cooking back there.
Yep. And then she was like,
She
"Oh, I
wanted
don't have."
us to come again.
Yeah.
She wanted us to stay overnight. I mean, just such a wonderful. Jeremy was very blessed with a great group of people.
Yes. Yes, Ben. It makes me realize how old I am. Absolutely. But yeah,
Stop talking about age.
I mean, all the food in Cambodia was wonderful, but and I might be biased, but this food was the best. I loved my host mom's cooking. It was so, so good. Yeah, this
And
is the
guess what?
inside
There
of
was
the
rice.
house. Yeah, yeah, there was rice. Of course there was rice. This is inside the house. So very, very empty. Actually, this couch is new. They did not have this couch when I lived there. And there's no air conditioning. The air conditioning is this fan. There's like a fan here and a fan on the back wall behind us, and a fan here, and that's it. That is the air conditioning. Just those three tiny little fans. And during the hot season, Ben says they are awesome people. I agree. And it was some of the best food we had. And there was lots of beer. Yes, we'll get to the beer. There's pictures of that. But yeah. Oh, here's another little spirit house here. But this door here, that leads to my bedroom. This is where I slept for the 2 years that I lived with the family. Of course, another kitty picture. Not sure where this is. This is from a different period in the trip. But again, you can see the bent and crooked and short tail of the cat, which is kind of cool. Okay. Oh, that's where it was. It was at the lake. Yeah, we've gone back in time a little bit.
You can see how short and curved that tail is. It's just so interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Okay, yeah, that temple out there was the West Mabon Temple from the mid 11th century, so mid 1000s. All right, so went back and visited my host worksite. So as I said, I worked as a community health education volunteer. I worked out of this small health clinic. Had 4 employees when I was there. Yeah, I think 4 employees when I was there. No doctors. All of them were nurses. And they could provide very, very basic treatment. Basically, sew up some stitches, provide some basic medication, test for malaria. They could do births and prenatal and postnatal checkups and things like that, but that's really about it. Anything else they would have to refer out to the regional hospital. But the funny thing about coming back here, so we pulled up. I wasn't sure if anyone was actually going to be there because when I was there, they mostly just worked in the morning. and they left at noon, and only really one person worked in the afternoon and overnight. And we got there probably about 3 in the afternoon, 2 or 3 in the afternoon or something. So I wasn't sure if anyone was going to be there. When I walked in, there were a couple of people there. One of them I recognized, and one was a new employee. And I tried in my broken Khmer to say, "Hi, you may not remember me, but my name's Jeremy. I was a Peace Corps volunteer. I worked here with you." And the woman I was talking to, who I worked with, didn't get it. Didn't understand what I was trying to say, and didn't recognize me. I mean, I didn't have the beard when I was here last, or when I was there last. So she didn't recognize me. So I went into this room here, where this guy was. He was the only guy who spoke any English. He spoke decent English. His English is definitely better than my Khmer is now, and it was probably about as good as my Khmer ever got. But it still wasn't great English. So I went in there, and I sat down, and I tried to introduce myself. I'm like, "Hi, hey, nice to see you again. I don't know if you remember, but I'm Jeremy. I worked here." And he's like, Jeremy, 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 oh man, Jeremy, oh, so good to see you," and called everyone out, and everyone came running, and they're like, "Oh, it's Jeremy, oh my gosh, oh, holy cow, it's so good to see you." I mean, they were so
It was
happy.
really fun.
It was great. And honestly, one of the best things about it was knowing when I left, and the whole time I was there, and when I left, I had no idea what impact I had. I had no idea if I had any impact on the people there, or through the work that I did, or anything. And that's one of the hardest things about Peace Corps. You just don't know. Going back, I know. I know how much I had an impact. I mean, I don't know what my health education teaching that I did, if that had any impact, but I had an impact on these people. And it seems like I had as much an impact on these people as they had on me. And it was great to go back and see them. And they were super, super happy to see me. And they wanted to show me all, they showed us all around. They've had some nice new additions. And I mean, it was great. It was great to go back and see them and get a chance to talk with them again. These are some of the best people in the world, honestly. I love them. They're awesome, awesome people. I was totally blessed to have a good group to work with. Go ahead.
It was fun to see their excitement when they realized who he was, and hugs all around, and they've made some really nice improvements on the clinic too.
Yeah, so this guy you see hugging me now, he was the head of the clinic. And yeah, he kept hugging me. He didn't want to let go. They were so happy that I was back. And they were like, "What is this? What the heck?"
Mm.
Yeah, they did not like the beard. Nobody there liked the beard. They
Yeah.
thought it was ridiculous.
Yep. But then we went on to my host family, and when we got there, only my host mom was there. She called my host dad, and he came. And then my host brother came after school. Unfortunately, the other 3 kids are off at college. So one is actually getting her PhD in biomedical sciences, studying, investigating a potential cancer drug in Texas. So, smart bugger. Another one is finishing up college. He's in his final semester in Virginia and Richmond. And the other one is studying architecture and design in Phnom Penh. But oh yeah, yeah, Crumbs. It would have been even swear if I had gone by the name of Sparkles. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, but yeah, so we got to see at least a part of my family. But yeah, as Ben said, my host mom, not a fan of the beard at all. She kept saying I was ugly. And she said that my dad, who didn't have a beard, was so much prettier than I was. And she kept threatening to cut it off. And I actually have a picture. Where is it? Ah, here it is. I have a picture here where I'm covering up my beard and mustache. I'm like, am I pretty now? Do you think I'm pretty now? And she's like, no, still ugly. uh, but yeah, they were super happy to see me as well. And here's my host dad. He came back from work. He took the rest of the afternoon off. He's a police officer who always works so hard. I very rarely saw him when I was living there for 2 years. He would be gone to work by the time I got up every morning, and I'd go to bed most days before he'd come back from work. I mean, he worked so hard, but I mean, it pays off with looking at how gorgeous the house is and how they've been able to build several extensions since I left. They've got a new car, and they got a new washing machine and all sorts of nice things. They got a really,
Now,
really nice kitchen.
Jeremy, when you were there, they had a stove, right?
Yes, it was a
But they did not
wood
have
burning stove when
a
I
wood
was
burning
there.
stove. And you washed your own laundry by hand, scrubbing it in a pot
Yep.
or bucket or something. And you did not have a dishwasher.
Nope. Did not have a dishwasher.
Okay.
We got a refrigerator about 6 months after I started living there, and then not even that, maybe about 2 or 3 months after I left, they got a washing machine, a clothes washer, but they're on their second one now.
Yeah. Things are dirty there.
Yeah. But yeah, here's Kaylee with the puppy at the other house.
Oh, it was so cute.
That was a very cute itty bitty puppy. And here she's playing with the friends, playing in the sand. This is when I got back after going to the Wattens, seeing my host brother. So good to see him. He and I I mean, all of the siblings and I had a pretty good connection, but this kid and I mean, it was a special connection between us, and God, I miss that kid so much. It was so good to see him, and he was so happy to see me again. You know, I can see us mirroring each other here a little bit. And Kaylee, being the animal lover that she is, found and caught a toad because that's what she does.
Center jeans.
Yep. So here's the beer. Ren, you want to tell the story about the beer?
Oh, man. So, this mom drinks like a sailor, and I am a sailor, and it was really, really funny. So, I'm learning numbers, right? Cambodian numbers. So
Can you count to
she'd
5?
ask me, yeah, I could. So she would ask me how many beer, and I'd be like one beer. And a sentence I learned was, please, I'd like one beer, right?
Which
So
is
she
which
got
is?
us
Do you remember?
some buy some beer, some. No, I don't remember it. Some
Some
muy beer.
some more
Some muy
beer.
beer. There
Yes.
it is. Yes.
There you
Muy
go.
is the Spanish word for very, so that's how I remember that. So we get started, and she's telling me you're gonna have 5 beer over the day, prom beer, and I'm like, no, prom beer. So we're on like 4 beers, and then she gave me the 5th one for the road, and I'm like, no, and I'm halfway done with the 4th one, and she opens the 5th one and pours it in the 4th one, and now she's like, prom beer. We were just going back and forth all night counting our beers, and
Yeah.
she's making sure that I'm drinking, and I'm making sure she's drinking, and we didn't really speak each other's language at all. Oh, here we are. Yeah, 3 beer, 1 beer. You see us with our fingers there? Yeah.
Yeah.
How many beer is it?
I think you spoke the
She
same
was
language.
amazing. She was amazing.
Yeah.
The language was beer.
Mm-hmm. I did
Well,
end up having 5 beer.
I love this picture too, Ren.
I can't see it yet.
Yeah, it's coming.
I think I know which one it
Oh,
is.
yes.
Yeah,
Honey beer.
you guys spoke the same language.
Hmm. It was the icebreaker too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, and so
Yeah.
when you cheers in Cambodia, everyone cheers, everyone drinks, and it's kind of a way to ensure that everyone drinks. Yeah, because everyone drinks at the same time. So
But yeah, you have to make sure though.
yeah, you have to
Yeah.
make sure. Sometimes they won't. So here, they cheers, and Ren started drinking, and my host mom didn't. So Ren reached out, grabbed her hand, and was like, "No, you're drinking."
And then they'll shake the beer after to make sure
Yeah.
like you're not just holding it there and not drinking any.
Yep. They will check. Make sure you are drinking that beer.
It was
That's
fun.
yeah. Yeah. Great people. Great people. Um,
You.
Go back and just look at a couple of these pictures of all of us together for a little bit, and then we'll get into the food pictures. So why did I choose to work in the Peace Corps uh, in, in Cambodia? So the reason why I chose Peace Corps is I actually went to a military college, and they pushed an idea that they call being a citizen soldier, and that's where you're a part of a society, but then you give back. Um, give back to that society. And in general, what they were talking about was um, being in the military as a way of giving back. But I didn't want to do that. But I still wanted to give back. So I was a volunteer firefighter for a while, but I thought Peace Corps would be a great way to give back, not just to my local community, but the greater human community as a whole. So when I applied, I could list the top 3 choices of countries where I wanted to go. And I didn't know. Really, what I wanted was to go somewhere that I knew very little about the country, very little about the culture, very little about the people. And one of those was Cambodia. And then from those top 3 choices, um, the Peace Corps office would choose where they thought you would be a best fit and where they needed you. And I got placed in Cambodia. So it was only kind of half my choice. This is a great picture. My 2 moms, both good people.
She took good care of him.
She did. She took great
If
care of me.
he didn't come home on time, he heard about it.
Yeah, yeah. There was one story I always like to tell. Um, I had been living with these people for maybe a month, and the health clinic was doing an outreach. Um, so I'll finish this story in a second. So this is back in Phnom Penh. So this girl here in the back is one of my host sisters and a couple of her friends, and we were lucky that we were able to meet up with her and have dinner with her one day. The day we were leaving, actually, we actually got on a plane to fly out about 6 hours after this picture was taken. um, but yeah, the health clinic I was working at was doing an outreach community at a floating village, one of the floating villages on the lake, and I didn't realize it was going to be an all-day thing. Normally, I went back and had lunch. Hey, Grimcore. Welcome, welcome. How are you? Hope you're having a good day. But yeah, I usually go home for lunch. I didn't know I was not coming home for lunch that day, so I didn't tell my host mom. I got back that evening, and she was pissed. She was so mad that I didn't tell her that I wasn't coming home for lunch. She was really, really not happy about that. But after that, I realized that, yeah, I've got another mom, I've got another family, and they really adopted me and made me part of that family very, very quickly. Yeah, great, great people. Yeah, but yeah, so Grimcore, you made it just in time for Cambodian food pictures. That's the last thing I've got today. And I've got lots of food pictures, and apparently some duplicated. So, lots of yummy food. So this is one of the main Cambodian dishes called fish amok. And it is wonderful. Very, very tasty. This is beef lok lok. It's I don't know how the beef's cooked, but it is wonderful, and you get this nice egg on top, and this lime pepper sauce here is just one of the best things in the world. Love that stuff. This is the wedding food. So, this is one of 7 courses of wedding food. There's so much food at these weddings. Here's another of the courses, whole chicken, including the feet, because there's not much meat on it, but not bad. It's decent eating. A whole fish. This fish, I don't know what it is, but it is wonderful, and it's topped with a mango salad that is just to die for. We had some tom yum soup, and of course, rice, both regular white rice and fried rice. And yeah, just lots and lots of food at the weddings. That was the best part about going to the weddings. So when I was in Peace Corps, I went to probably about 40, 45 weddings. And yeah, got tired of them after a while, but never got tired of the yummy food. Thank you for subscribing, Grimcore. Appreciate it. Yeah, there's lots of yummy foods all over the country. So, Mom, Big Fat Snake says he loved the loved the taste of salted green Camp-Hot peppercorns. Bought them after we talked about it. You'll enjoy it. How expensive was the food? So we could get a full meal for a full meal for 6 people with drinks, including probably multiple alcoholic drinks for most people. It'd be about $60 to $70 for 6 people. I mean, you can get a good meal. This here, the dumpling soup probably costs about $2.50 in the US. So very, very cheap. I had meals, good meals in the village when I was there for about $1.75 US. So very, very cheap food. But some of the best food was street food. And unfortunately, this picture didn't come out. It was really hard to get a good picture because it was so dark. But street meat is the best. So this was actually the food we had at the pepper farm. You can see there are peppercorns in all of it, as there should be. And it was just so good. It was all so, so delicious. This is a Khmer curry, Cambodian curry. That is very, very good food. It has eggplant, pumpkin, and various other veggies in it. So good.
And all the veggies are so fresh because they grow there year round.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and the smell of the street food is what gets you. Definitely Grimcore. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a slightly different Cambodian curry. There's like 3 or 4 different. Well, there's really like 2 different types of Cambodian curry, but everyone cooks the curry differently. I mean, you could go from one house to the next house, and they would cook their curry differently. But it's all delicious. Oh, and here's some salty fish on a stick. Haley
That was
loved the
highly
salty
enjoyed.
fish on a stick. Cute little
And she
girl.
ate everything but the head.
Yep. Yep. And here's some street fried noodles, which that was one of my favorite meals when I lived in Cambodia. Just any street food, but the fried noodles were great. So the best cure to prevent a hangover is have Cambodian fried noodles before you go to bed and drink a liter of what's called ORS, oral rehydration salts. A liter of
That's
water
disgusting.
with some salt and some sugar in it. Drink that and have some Cambodian street fried noodles. You'll feel fine the next day, no matter how much you've drank, basically. I swear by it. Street meat. Oh, so this street meat, it was like a pig, like a whole pig skin that had been grilled up. And they just sliced off a section of the pig skin, heated it up on the grill, and cut it up for us. And it was so good. Oh yeah, Ben says the fried noodles were the bomb. I actually have a picture of what's left of the pig skin here. Yeah, so here's half of the pig skin left. So they'll just come up here and slice off a part of it, cook it up like they're doing down here, and plate it up for us. Oh yeah, yeah. It's probably not actually true about the hangovers, but it always worked for me. Yeah, so much street food, so much street meat, and it was so wonderful. There's a whole bird. You could just buy a whole bird. I don't know what this bird is, but it is good. I've had that before. And chicken feet. We got a bunch of chicken feet here.
I'd been threatened in the lead up to this many times with tarantulas that blessedly never appeared.
Yeah, I looked and I didn't see him. I didn't see him.
I'm
One
okay
of
with
our
this.
drivers, one of our van drivers, we stopped somewhere for a break, and he went over and they had hard boiled a duck egg, but the duck was in the egg at full maturity, ready to hatch.
Not full maturity. Partial maturity.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Very
yeah,
partial.
you could see duck in there,
Yeah.
and I just didn't have it in me to try that. It
Yeah,
was,
I've had those.
yeah.
It's not bad. It tastes decent. You just have to get over the ick factor of eating a duck fetus.
Yeah, I didn't.
Me neither.
Yeah, here's the food from my host mom again, and again this lime pepper sauce is just wonderful. Grimcore, I was going to go to bed, drank some milk, and thought I don't need to eat. I could just go up and shut my PC. I press the link in self-promotion in Van 14, and now there's no sleeping without eating. Well, happy to help provide some food for you, Grimcore. Yeah, just all the yummy foods. All the yummy foods. So this was, I don't think our last meal, but one of our last meals. This is something that's really cool. It's called Ko Long Panom, which means cow goes up the mountain, or cow goes over the mountain. And what it is there's this fire source underneath this grill, and you put the meat on top of the grill to cook it, and then you put a broth along the edge and cook the veggies in it. And it is so good. It is so good. And actually with this we had all sorts of different kinds of interesting meats. So we had, the traditional, fish, beef, pork. But we also had things like alligator, squid, octopus, kangaroo, ostrich, all sorts of things.
A little bitty octopus.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a squid. I don't know.
Grimcore wants those anti-hangover noodles. Well, hopefully you just want it and don't need it. Hopefully that's the case. But yeah, this was always a lot of fun and so good. So good. I loved doing this when I was in Cambodia and had to share it with my family. But yeah, just all this wonderful, wonderful meat and wonderful veggies. And what was that video? Ah. So here, they're prepping it. Got some fat here up top to help. Basically, it's lard to prevent the meat from sticking. Morning, Cherry. How are you? Hope you're doing
Hi,
well.
Cherry.
Just dip it in as opposed to scoop it. Yeah. Yeah, and then we've got all this meat, and yeah, they would put the meat on top here and cook it up. Cherry says, "Hey, we don't have a weird meats." Cherry's from Australia.
Oh. Hey, we ate kangaroos.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a lot of crinkling in the background. Someone.
It's me. I'm sorry. I'm trying to fix food.
But yeah, such good food. Such good food. Of course, had to get a picture of someone taking a picture of the food. Oh, Ren, this was the noodles that you and Ben had.
Oh, yeah, it was
in
a
Phnom Penh.
yeah. We went to a vegetarian fried noodles place, and as an aside, I wanted to ask them if I could buy 5 of their bowls, just empty bowls, because they were adorable. There's like the little lucky cat on them, and they're blue. But the food was amazing too.
Then some kind of soup it looks like. That is.
Fried noodles, I think.
The next one.
No. Oh. Ah, yeah, that's a pumpkin soup.
Pumpkin soup. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This looks
I
like
tried that a couple times actually.
looks like maybe chicken with pineapple or something. Whatever it is, it looks good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm ready to go back.
Yeah, if
That
nothing else,
plane
just
ride
for the
was
food.
long. That was a long, long plane ride.
Yeah.
We need a good Cambodian restaurant around here.
There's actually a couple of Cambodian restaurants, at least there used to be in the DC area. So Grimcore, so I actually lived in Cambodia for 3 years, from 2015 to 2018. I worked as a volunteer for an organization called the U.S. Peace Corps. And I went over there, I lived with the community, within the community, worked with the community as a community health education volunteer. And lived with a Khmer family, and yeah, and I actually stayed for a third year after I did my 2 years of service there, because I didn't want to leave. And worked for a charity while I was there. And I actually went back this time because one of my friends from the Peace Corps was getting married over there. He was married a Cambodian woman. So I went back for the wedding and decided to turn it into a long 2-week trip with my family. So yeah, got to share all of my experiences and my 3 years of life with my family for a couple of weeks. All right, so that is about all that I have. Mom, Ren, do y'all have any last minute stories or anything that I missed? Or does anyone in
There's
chat have any questions about Cambodia or about our time there or my time there when I lived there or anything at all that you would like to learn about or like us to talk about?
I had something I wanted to say for quite some time, but guess what?
Hmm.
Of
Yeah,
course. Of
yeah,
course.
it's gone. It's an age problem.
Crumb says, I can't believe you didn't bring me, your online friend whose real name you don't know.
What?
Well, next time I'll have to take you, Crumbs. No problem. Adam,
Well,
yes.
here's
Yes.
what I wanted to say is you can tell that Jeremy is quite a good um tour guide. And at your expense, he and I would be happy to go over there and show you around the country anytime.
Uh, how did you get included in that?
I gave birth to you.
Hmm.
Isn't that enough?
Fair enough. Fair enough. Adam, yes, had a lot of fun. It was a great trip. It was great to go back and see the country. I love Cambodia. It is a wonderful, wonderful country, beautiful country, amazing people. I highly recommend it if you ever have the opportunity to go to Cambodia. Take it. It will be worth it. You will not regret it. Um, it's it's an amazing place. It's an amazing place. And
Everything he says is true.
and yeah, so I guess if there are no other questions or anything, your
I'm sure I'll
impression?
think of like 8 things to say as soon as we get off.
Yeah, yeah,
I'll put them on the Discord.
absolutely, yes. Splash,
I
mom
will
is
say
always included, unwritten rule.
the
That's right.
mosquitoes were not bad. The only time I got bit really was 15 minutes at dusk when I didn't have spray on. Then it was in the inner city and I got pretty well mosquitoed then. But other than that, it really wasn't bad.
Yeah, yeah, not too bad. And yeah, Grimcore, yeah, sorry you missed the first part of it, but it is a 4 hour stream, so take your time, but you should go back and check out some of the other things. I think you might like seeing some of the other pictures from the trip. But yeah, anyone else who missed part of it, yeah, please go back and again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Discord. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. And thank you all um, for coming and for those of you who stuck around for the full 4 hours. I can't believe you did that. I can't believe I streamed for 4 hours. Um,
No, you did a good job.
But and thank you, Mom and Ren, for coming on and sharing some as well and joining me.
It was great.
And yeah, so with that, I'll call it a day here. And yeah, go get some food. I'm getting hungry. I didn't have lunch before this, so I'm hungry.
Hmm.
Um, but I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, however much of it is left. And I'll catch you all next time. Take care, everyone. Bye.